Yo, 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 yo. Y'all can hear me? Yo, 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 yo.
Rivals of Ether 2.
Yeah, I'm just playing a little bit before we start this podcast. I don't know what time it's supposed to be starting, like 20 minutes or something like that, but sometimes with these time zone differences, we have a tendency of getting time a little mixed up, you know? After this, I gotta do a whole bunch of stuff, so this is gonna be a short stream. I will be streaming a lot more, a lot more consistent. It's just that a lot of stuff, bull crap, is going on. So, you know, a lot of crap been going on. So I gotta, but I've reached the tail end of the bull crap, and things have went to a better place. So streamers gonna come back. I'm gonna be playing a lot of different games. I got some videos I gotta drop. So I'm late on a bunch of stuff already. It's just bad, man. Bad. But boy West coming back.
Choose your rival. Toronto.
My color right here, boy. Everybody will know about me.
Godai Delta.
I think I played this dude before. You know?
Ready?
I think I played him.
Go!
My goal is to make play experience a living nightmare for people. But I doesn't beat that. Attack. Attack, baby. die, you dead from that? Over there? Ah, shit. Jeez.
Choose your rival. Metal Graveyard. Ready? Go!
Item. Oh, he doesn't spot that. Okay. We about to start this party soon. I want to get this over with because I still got stuff to do, man.
Choose your rival. Toronto. Godai Delta. Ready? Go!
What's up? You know what I noticed? I think the best thing to do against this character is once he has his rock out, but once he has his rock out, you when he has his rock out, you get him from on that side. You hit him out of his rock, right? So you hit him out of his rock, and then you make sure you get him away from the rock, and keep it on. Don't keep it. This guy Ford is ridiculous. See, like right there. See how his rock is right there? Make sure he doesn't get it. It's better for him not to leave it on the stage. Than to see what I'm saying? Like, he does better with the rock than you. Well, with his boulder rather. So what's that? Yeah, he does better if you like right here. See how his rock is on the stage, his boulder, whatever you want to call it. Make sure he doesn't get it. Make sure he doesn't get it. You know what I'm saying?
Aim.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? He's gonna rock out with the cock out. Yeah. Be careful with his rock. Let him throw it. If he's not a crag that breaks the rock and he throws it at you, take advantage of that and keep him away from it. The least amount of times he could use the rock, the better it is for you. Don't break the rock back. Keep it on stage. That's the. Oh, I should have never.
Ready? Go.
What up? I'm doing a podcast. I was trying to do Contra with you on Friday, but y'all never said nothing to me, bro. You dead, man? Really? Out of here, yo. I got a love and hate relationship with this game, mainly because you know how I am. You know how we are, Jay. We try to get good at games, man. Start this over. Let's try again. Let's try again. Let's try again. Off that. Let's try that again. Let's try that again. Let's try that again. Let's try that again. Well, alright, let me tell you the reason why I stopped playing Melee. The reason why I stopped playing Melee is I can't find my damn controller, bro. I can't find my controller that I was using for it, but I'm definitely going to play it. So there's a bunch of stuff that has been going on that made me not be able to stream as much. But I'm slowly getting back into it. And I have some things I want to do when it comes to streaming, and playing these games. I have the ideas and everything. I mean, he don't gotta play Melee for a year. You know what I'm saying? He could stop playing that game. You know what I'm saying? That game ain't going nowhere, son.
Choose your rival. Toronto.
Oh, I gotta fight a fucking other rhino. Here we go. Do a first attempt with Hugs, man. Hugs don't even play. Hugs is done with Melee, bro. I'm kind of done too. I just mainly use it for content and hosting events, man. I don't give a shit about that game like that, man. I like this, yo. It's like Assassin's Creed, yo. Here's what I'm gonna do though. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna let's try that again. Oh. Oh, you should have never did that. I said I used to look up to you. In the name of Miguel, I used to look up to you. You don't listen, Jermaine. That's a good time. I bet people, Hugs don't play no more, bro. Like, what don't you get? He don't play no more. Dude is what is he? He a real estate agent, bro. How am I supposed to play? I'm playing Ghost. What I can do, here's what I could do, right? I could piggyback off your idea. I could basically be listening. I'm coming back because I want to take the crown back with Samus, right? And I come out here to play, to challenge all the Samuses in the Ditto. I could do that. For the most part, I beat every Samus that even when I came back for that little bit of time I did like 3 years ago, 3-4 years ago, I beat, I would say 90% of the Samus players. 90% of the Samus players I will beat. I only lost to, who did I lose to? I lost to, what the hell is this guy's name? What's the other Samus name? I think it's, got his name, man. But he was the best Samus at the time. So, what the hell is his name, man? Okay, I will have to look it up. What the hell is his name, man? I forgot, man. That's his name, yo. Guy's cooking me right now, yo. Oh shit, this guy's cooking me. You said you should collaborate with Marcel. Oh, this guy was tight from last match, yo. God damn, relax, guy. This guy was tight, son. Yo, this guy was tight from last match, yo. Relax, son. Relax, yo. Fucking relax. I should collaborate with, oh, not Duck. It wasn't Duck. It was, what the hell? Oh, that's his name. His name was Morse Code. How did I forget his name? He's the #1 Samus right now in Melee. Morse Code. Duck retired. It was Morse Code. There we go.
Choose your rival.
But I don't even know if he still plays.
Rock wall. Ready? Go!
I don't know if the thing is, I don't know if he's still here. Alright, these guys calming. Need to calm the fuck down. Relax. It's Sunday. It's Sunday, son. It's Sunday. Oops, wrong move. It's Sunday. It's supposed to be a relaxing day. It's Sunday. It's Sunday, motherfucker. It's Sunday. Missed him. Ooh, it's Sunday. It's Sunday. Relax, motherfucker. Oh, I know he tight. I know he tight. I know you want that kill, bro. Oh, it's Sunday. It's Sunday. I know you want that kill, bro. Ooh, ooh, I know you want want that kill, son. But it's Sunday. I'm chilling. It's Sunday. Oh shit, it's Sunday, yo. He's feeding for that kill, son. Look at him. Oh. But it's Sunday, I'm chilling. Ooh, he caught that kill. Beatemup Toys podcast today, yeah. Let's see what he does. Ooh. Ooh. Let me chill out. He can come back if I don't chill out. I gotta lock this in. Oh, you fucked up. Oh, you fucked up. You fucked up. Let's go.
Game and set.
Toma. Did they call me yet? Nah, they didn't call me yet. They ain't call me yet. We're gonna start the Beatemup Toys podcast soon, stupid. Beatemup. The Beatemup Toys podcast. The Beatemup Toys. First off, right? Jay, are y'all ready for the barbecue, son? Are y'all ready? Huh? I said the Beatemup Toys podcast. Oh, let me see. Hold on. They ready? Let me use that. Save image. All right, let me fix something, people. I'll be there in a minute. I'll be there in a minute. I said the Beatemup Toys podcast. You stupid. Beatemup Toys. You funny. That shit is hilarious. I said the Beatemup Toys. YouTube always changing stuff, bro. They're always changing their goddamn database, man. Edit this. No, that's not it. Go inside. What the fuck is this?
Choose your rival. Toronto.
For what? Huh? War game. Okay. Oh, what?
Godai Delta.
Telling me to ask that?
Ready? Go!
Spades?
Spades. Dominoes. I don't know. Oh, this guy's beating me ass. Yo, hold on. Oh, this guy's, he ranked. Oh, I remember this guy. Oh, I know this dude, yo. He's from New York. He's from he's from. All right, hold on. I gotta focus. I gotta focus here, right here. I gotta focus. This guy, I gotta beat him. Come on, man. You freaking teabagging, bruh? That's what you do? Alright. I'll make your life a living hell now. I ain't wanna do it. Make your life a living hell, bruh. Out of here. Shit. Oh, I went the wrong way. The parry don't work. Ah, god damn it. That sword is OD. I said that sword is OD. Oh, they calling. After this, I gotta go. Hold on. I'll go after this.
Everyone follows the brightest flame.
Hold on, I gotta come into this chat in a second.
Choose your rival.
Alright. Here we go. Over here? Yeah. We gonna go in there. I'm gonna go in there in 1 second. I gotta finish this daggone thing, man. I gotta handle some business right real quick, man.
Fire
Right.
capital.
I'm gonna run right in there, man.
Ready? Go!
Okay, you spot dodges a lot. What? I'm done. I'm done. Yo, he got hit and then he went nowhere. You got it, son. Yo, you saw that? Yo, you got it, son. You got it, yo. My man got hit. He didn't go nowhere. You got it, bro. And I still got hit. Yo, you got it, bro. Yo, I'm clipping that shit. Yo, I clearly hit him when he was on the stage. He registered, the hit registered, but he went nowhere. What kind of game is this, bro? Holy smokes, yo. Oh, man. You can never get mad at these kind of games, bro. You can never get mad at these games. Let's take a look at it real quick and see if I'm bugging. I'm like, yo, this game is actually kind of wild today. Let me see something. Give me a second, Face. 1 second. My fault. 1 second. 1 second. Let me dead this game, right? Real quick. Where we at? Yeah. Where the hell we at? Why you talking for, man? We'll play another time. That game was definitely yours. The whole set was yours, bro. The game handed it to you on a platter. Cause that was nonsense. I literally blocked. But I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. Real quick before I end this, right? He got that, he got this, right? What's it at? Hold on, what's it at? He didn't go and I still got Here we go, hold on, what's it at? Oh, you can't see it. Hold on, you can't see it. Alright, here we go. So you got it, bro. Yo, you went nowhere. You got it, son. Watch now, check this out. Check this out right here. You slow down the speed. Hold on, no, that's not it. Speed, playback. Alright. We're gonna go right there, right? We're gonna play at that 1 point. Is it this? Yeah. We're gonna go there, watch. Look at this. He's holding on the stage too long. Watch. I see what happened. Okay. I see exactly what happened. He still should have got hit. That's wild. That's wild he got to keep his invincibility that long and refresh it. You see that shit? That's crazy. Hold on. Watch. So, right? So, I'm waiting. His invincibility should be gone. Should be completely gone. Look at this. But when he jumps, that's crazy. No way. Nah. I'm good. I'm good. Anyway, we're gonna start this podcast. I'll be right back, guys. Later. I'll be right back. I'll be back. I'll be back.
There
Perfect
you
time.
are,
We
just
bro.
got our.
Yeah, what's up, fellas?
Hey guys.
Yes.
Hey everyone.
Right.
Oh, I didn't set up the network thing right. My bad. I gotta do that.
Fix this real quick. Turn so a little bit more.
Right.
Yeah,
So
sorry.
now, oh gosh. Okay. Discord, please, not today. I need to move Discord's layout because it just decided to throw my layout off. Do you know what? I really need to transfer and start using StreamYard, you know, because then I will never have this problem.
Yeah, it's my
StreamYard
fault.
is
I should have helped you out talking about that.
so much better. Grid view. That's better. Grid view. There you go. Right. Show my own camera. No, let's not do that. Show
So
my own
for
camera.
online, we go to play in the browser, right?
Yeah. That's the simple way to do it. Play in browser, but then when you choose that, there's going to be green text that says online.
Okay, are we good? We on here? We on?
We're here. We are here. We are live and in effect. Chat, shout outs, apologies for the wait. We were just doing a bit of testing and a bit of setting up. You know how it goes over here on MPZ channel on the fly sometimes. Yeah, on the fly setting up sometimes. Anyway, we
All right.
have joined with a special guest. Din, take it away.
Yes, sir. So, guys, welcome to the Beatemup Boys podcast. I'm Mr. Dean from Broads Avenue. We got face for major players in the legendary West. And our guest today is Mike,
Hey, everybody.
the co-creator of Metro Siege and other cool retro games. This game just reached its goals on Kickstarter and fully funded. All stretch goals. And from what I see, one
Clap it
more
up.
stretch goal now.
Clap it up. Congratulations.
Let's
Oh,
clap
thank
it
you.
up. Let's clap it up. Clap it
Congrats
up.
on that. How you feeling,
Clap
Mike?
it up.
Good. Yeah, it's definitely. I don't know if any of you guys have dealt with it before, but a Kickstarter campaign is like a full-time job of its own to set up and then to like run the campaign. So I've been trying to catch up a little bit on some sleep lately, but otherwise, obviously, I'm very happy that it funded well. And in fact, we let the Kickstarter campaign roll into a new feature that Kickstarter has that allows late backers. So we added one more stretch goal, and now people can still back the campaign. So you could still, if you're interested in the game, you can get it like the Kickstarter version that will be the lower price than it will end up being once it's done, and have the exclusive stuff. Like there's more swag in the in the Kickstarter versions than there will be in the
Okay.
normal versions once the campaign totally ends. But anyway, yeah, that's feeling good about it. Yeah, definitely
Yeah,
excited.
Yeah, again, congratulations, man. Because yeah,
Yeah, congrats. It's tough,
Kickstarter
man.
could be a nerve-wracking one. That one there, and yeah,
Oh,
like
yeah.
you said, full-time job as soon as that Kickstarter
Yeah.
starts. Do you know what I mean? So
Yep.
and that's on top of development, right? So development and full-time job of the Kickstarter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stressful time there.
Yeah,
So-
and like I'm still wrapping up our previous game, Damon Claw. I'm still wrapping up the Neo Geo version with the studio that we're working with to make that, and wrapping up all the printable, like cool add-ons we offered for the Kickstarter for that. But yeah, if you like retro games, Damon Claw's not really a beat 'em up, but it doesn't easily fit into any of the modern genres that people know. But there's combat, there's side scrolling, there people see it and they think it'll be like a Castlevania game, but there's no platforming and no adventuring. It's very linear but non-stop action. Very old school kind of arcadey game style. But anyway, yeah, so that's
So we're working on
keeping
two
me busy.
games at the same
Yeah, yeah.
time. You are very busy then.
Yeah,
Very
like
busy.
like wrapping up one game, rolling into the next.
The
So
next.
there is a transitionary stage where you overlap and you lose even more sleep than usual because you're wrapping up one and rolling into the other and trying to
Yeah.
really promote it. So yeah,
Yeah,
very
yeah,
very
yeah.
busy but very excited. Yeah.
Honestly, I
That's
wish I
mad.
hadn't been packing up for my transfer. I actually have Damon Claw. I have the
Awesome.
physical edition of it. I would have just showed
Awesome.
it off right here. I played a little bit of it. I remember playing the demo, and like the first boss was pretty tough. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Going through and play that one again.
Yep, it's definitely old school, both in the difficulty and just the general sense of game design. I'm a weirdo for an American. I actually had the Sega 8-bit system called what was it called? The Sega Master System.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, and there was
too.
it was pretty rare in the United States for people to have
Okay.
that. And there was a game on there that was super generically localized called Black Belt.
Oh, I love that game. I
There you go.
absolutely love it. Yeah.
There you
anyway,
go.
sorry,
So
continue.
if you like Black Belt, to me, I always felt all these years that Black Belt was a lost genre. So that was originally a Fist of the North Star game, and they made it hyper generic to port it to the West and just called it Black Belt. and
Wow.
removed all of the IP, the characters, the
Yeah.
extreme violence, all that stuff they got rid of. But still, the core of the game, it's like it's side scrolling. There's no platforming, but it's
No.
nonstop action, and it's almost like a rhythm action combat game.
Literally.
And and it was so fun and just addictive, despite the flaws of that 8-bit game. I knew that like that had its own potential as a genre. And back then, people were designing games, and they weren't even thinking as far as genre. They were just trying to come up with cool ideas for games,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And they kind of evolved and branched off and congealed into specific genres like platformer, run and gun, beat 'em up.
Yeah.
And the problem is everything that looked remotely like Black Belt, it just all evolved into you'd better be a platformer or you'd better be like a Castlevania or Metroidvania game.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so but like they made a sequel to it for the Sega Genesis or Mega Drive, the rest of the world knows it as. And that was called, what was that? Usually it just comes to me, but I can't think of it right now. What is the name of that game? Much Bigger Sprites. It also was a Fist of the North Star game, but for the Mega
Last
Drive.
Battle.
There you go. I knew it had the word last in it. I couldn't pull the.
I heard him saying it. I'm like, I gotta get this
Yeah.
stuff real quick so I can answer this
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Last battle,
But-
I was actually gonna bring it up too.
Yeah. So, but the thing was, when they were making the sequel for the Genesis, the impetus, the drive was really to show off the sprite power and the dual playfield, like the parallax
Uh-huh.
scrolling
Yeah.
of the Mega Drive. So they kind of dropped the ball, I think, with keeping the excitement of what Black Belt had. Suddenly the gameplay was way more slowed down, but they felt they had to do that because the sprites are so much bigger. You had very little reaction time. Like in Black Belt, the sprites are smaller, so you could actually turn around and adjust and see enemies coming and do what you have to do. But so anyway, Damon Claw started as like a love letter in its gameplay design to Black Belt, and it just kind of adds some modern quality of life and a little more sophisticated gameplay to
I
it.
need
But
to play Damon Claw. I need to play it now. Now I need
Awesome.
to play it because you just flooded a whole bunch of memories and nostalgia. And I literally played Black Belt on stream a few days ago. Like
Awesome.
I've only played it briefly, and that game just brought me back. That was for me.
Yeah.
Black Belt for me was the first beat 'em up for me. If I'm gonna compare it to a beat 'em up anyway, even though we didn't know what it was back then.
Well,
I was-
exactly. That's like what I'm getting at. And it is true. There were games like Vigilante. There was another one that were purely side scrolling. There was no depth. You couldn't walk in depth. Altered Beast falls in that same,
Yeah.
like
Another
Altered
category.
Beast and Last Battle is like what that genre became.
Yeah. You ever
Yeah.
played this
But-
game called My Hero? My Hero. You play that?
No, I actually have not. But
Yeah,
that's a good
Wonder
game.
Momo was another one.
yeah.
Yeah, there was quite a few of them, and like
You could say Bad Dudes or Dragon
Yeah.
Ninja, it was
Yeah.
called.
Yeah,
and-
yeah.
Yep.
Dragon, I was about to bring that one up, and my favorite of all time, Ninja Warriors,
Yep. Yeah.
which became Ninja Savior,
Absolutely.
the peak, the goats.
Yeah. Yeah, to me, Ninja Warriors, like the original arcade, like was it 2 screens or 3 screens wide? Three, yeah. Like that to me was very similar to Altered Beast, where when I was a kid going into the arcades, and I remember the first day I saw both games, and my jaw dropped, and I was like, "Holy crap! This is where arcade games are going. This is awesome." But the concept outshined the execution. So like Altered Beast, really awesome, badass concept, but the gameplay wasn't like really hot. It wasn't really, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It was fairly limited. It was a short
Yeah.
game. Like
I
there was so
loved
much more they could have done with that concept. And to me, it was the same thing like Ninja Warrior. Like the 3 screens, the ninjas who didn't love ninjas, especially in the 80s, but who stopped? I don't want to know the person who stopped loving ninjas, but also the fact that as you take damage, it's revealed that you're basically cyborgs or robots was badass too.
Cool
It's like
concept.
taking all the stuff that was really popular back then, like the Terminator movies, like ninjas and just combining it in a cool way. But anyway, as you can tell, I love this stuff and I could ramble forever. So always feel free to interrupt me. Just tell me to shut up
Hey,
when you need to carry
listen,
on.
fair enough. Hey, it's all beat 'em ups today.
Yeah.
I know we're playing Metro Siege because that's the focus, but like Demon Claw,
Yep.
I did play it, and I was like, I can't stress enough how much I love like Ninja Saviors.
Yep.
Like it's one of my favorite modern takes on like a classic genre. Yeah, so playing Demon Claw is like, yeah, this is another one that I'm gonna enjoy. I just haven't gotten back to it yet. Oh man, I had a question about that, but I forgot.
We're at Metro
Yeah.
Siege. We're at Metro Siege. Metro Siege is our focal point right here, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
just starting off-
absolutely.
just
But I
starting off.
do want to say my bad face because you did play Black Belt, and I was going to tell you, hey, these guys did make a game like Black Belt. You should check that one out as well.
Oh, did you? Ah, you
So,
didn't say?
yeah, that's why I wanted to get them on because I was like, well, there's not Black Belt.
Yeah.
There's Demon Claw, and then there's Metro Siege as well. But Metro Siege
Yeah.
is the focus because
Yeah,
Kickstarter.
yeah.
You know,
Okay. All right. So talking on Metro Siege.
Yeah.
On a like brief rundown, how did
Yep.
it start? Where did the idea come from?
Yep.
What's the story on the game?
Yeah. What's the
Yeah,
story?
so beat 'em ups are by far my favorite genre especially for co-op play. And just growing up with a big brother that I mentioned, where he was always the big grappler guy, I was the more agile guy. I just loved playing beat 'em ups, and it really helped. My brother and I were really close, and it was something we could really enjoy together. And I just developed a huge love for the genre. And so Metro Siege is basically my love letter to everything I loved from every beat 'em up game. And because it became my favorite genre, my brother and I played almost every classic arcade and console beat 'em up game. But going back to being a weird American, I also had a Commodore Amiga computer, which was awesome. But most Americans don't know what the heck it is, and it doesn't matter much. But the point is, it was released just before the birth of the 16-bit revolution for consoles. So like when it was first released, the best home games you could play were pretty much the 8-bit Nintendo and the Sega Master System. And then suddenly you had the Amiga computer, which had full 16-bit, like you could have giant moving objects, you could have incredible quality sound and music, like CD quality sound and music coming out of a system without a CD drive by default. And it always really, really, can I use a little bit of vulgar language here? Can I say peed me off?
Yeah, you're good.
It drove me nuts. It really kind of pissed me off growing up as an American in the Western world. Like the Amiga was very like Europe centric. It never made it really big in America. But at the same time, it was like the Western world. And I'm like, it was driving me nuts that Japanese game developers, because they treated it like an art form. Like it was a huge, technology in general in Japan was always like that. But when video games became a thing, the Japanese culture very much highly respected it as an art form. Just like they did with manga long before the American society kind of developed a respect for comics or graphic novels in the West, and eventually manga took over in anime in the West too. But the point is that it drove me nuts. I'm like, guys, a huge amount of these Japanese games, like Altered Beast, like so many, Streets of Rage, they're based on Western ancient culture and Western pop culture. Why are the Japanese way better than Westerners at developing arcade and console games? It was pissing me off. And the Amiga was the ultimate example of it. Like it was the first in so many ways. Like the original, you guys know that sci-fi series Babylon 5?
Yeah,
I heard about it. Yeah.
The first I'm old. I think I'm quite a bit older than all you guys, but the first season or two of that, they did all the graphics, all the special effects for it on Amiga computers. And so like it was the first home computer to have like real good multitasking and to allow people to make really good quality music and video titles and animations and everything. And that's what I learned, like really mastered pixel art on, if I'm going to be so bold as to say I mastered a craft. But it's what I got good enough that I got a job in the industry working for like Way Forward and Sega
Oh.
sometimes, and back in the
Oh,
mobile
that
days.
was okay. Okay.
So
That was a
Okay.
I did
yeah.
for what is it? I think the DS. I did some of the character animations for Thor: God of Thunder, a beautiful 2D site, like an action beat 'em up style game, but no depth movement. It like pure, more like Black Belt, but like really beautiful 16-bit graphics, style graphics. But anyway, so so I loved the Amiga, and it always really frustrated me how poor most of the games were, both in game design and the fact I knew the computer could do really good ports of arcade games or original games. Sometimes there'd be a technically stunning, brilliant sounding game, but the art was not great and the game design was usually poor. So it's like it was driving me nuts. Like, guys, what the hell? Like,
We've got that
what?
right, but not this.
It was like for decades in the West, you had a bunch of, and don't get me wrong, I'm a nerd, right? But like you had a whole culture of the people in the Western world that were like nerdy computer programmers, and they were like, programming's cool. Making a game would be like the coolest thing to program. So there was a love of computers and a love of programming, but not a love of the art form of designing arcade and console style games. Like Japan just totally dominated. Like, yeah, like to a ridiculous degree. And that always drove me nuts. But anyway, going back to the whole birth of Metro Siege, is I held on to this frustration for decades, long past the Amiga like being a viable market or anything like that. It had literally gone bankrupt and switched ownership hands a million times. But I was always frustrated, and then one day I just decided that there was like a really bad port of Final Fight for the Amiga, and back as a teenager, I was like, are you serious, guys? Like, you finally get the license to make a AAA arcade game. The Amiga is capable, and it was not the programmer's fault. Think of it this way: the businessmen that ran the studios that made ports for Amiga,
Yeah.
they hired one guy practically out of high school, one guy as the programmer. They did not give him the graphics from the arcade board. Before he even started, he had to write his own program to rip the graphics out of the arcade. And he was not an artist. So he just relied on an algorithm to like hardcore color reduce every graphic into the game down to a single 16 color palette. Like insult to injury. No musician, no, like, and the programmer himself admitted later in an interview, beat 'em ups weren't really his thing. So, and they gave him a half a year. They gave him 6 months to do a port of a AAA arcade game alone.
Nah.
Like,
I'm so glad you brought that up, because I feel like I was the only one that had that knowledge about that.
yeah. So that programmer pulled off a miracle, given like he's brilliant, but he had no support, no funding, no time,
no hair,
artist, and no he cared that the game would not crash because he did not love beat 'em ups. And the final insult to injury is the big problem in the Amiga back then is most Amiga owners, you'd have to clutch away their single button grandpa Atari 2600 style joystick out of their cold dead hand. So most game developers, they had to develop 4 single button. So like it had everything going against it. But to make matters even worse, and I'm sorry guys, we're nerding out on this stuff, the technical side and the history, but the last like nail in the coffin for the quality, where was I going with this? The one button support. Oh yeah, and then the other thing was there were two computers that were fighting for 16-bit popularity. The other one besides the Amiga was the Atari ST. And unfortunately, they had the same main processor, the infamous Motorola 68000, which is the same processor in your Mega Drive / Genesis or Neo Geo. But the problem was the Amiga, it had that main processor and then a bunch of custom chips for awesome graphics and sound. The Atari ST had nothing. It had the main processor, and that was going to do everything. And so basically, it could only display 16 color for the most part. So in order to save even more money, the same studios that would hire people to make Amiga ports, they'd say, you have half a year, you have no support, and you're going to simultaneously make the game for Amiga and Atari ST. So the graphics always went to the lowest common denominator. They would make the graphics work on the Atari ST and not enhance them to what it could be on the Amiga. So anyway, I dealt with that frustration for decades. And one day I decide on a whim, I'm going to use my beloved pixel art program on PCs called ProMotion NG. And I'm going to load in an old shitty screenshot from the Amiga version of Final Fight. And I'm just going to repaint the entire thing, recreate, like, how good could a beat 'em up have looked on an Amiga if it were made with love and care and an actual team that had the time and gave a crap? How good could a game like that could have looked on the Amiga? And that was the birth of Metro Siege, because this Amiga programmer and Amiga artist / musician had just wrapped up their previous Amiga game. They finished it, they sold it to Amigans. They finished that game called Worthy, and the artist / musician said to the programmer, hey, we should contact this guy. He just made some really cool mock-ups of how Amiga games could have looked. So they contacted us and said, me, and said, if you could turn any of these mock-ups you made, I had done a shmup mock-up and some other stuff. And they said, if you could make any of these games a reality for the Amiga, which one would you pick? And I said, beat 'em up, because there's some decent shmups and other kinds of games on the Amiga, but there's no decent beat 'em ups. And it was like the most challenging. Like it required an incredible amount of hardcore hardware banging and optimizing to get a game that looks like that to run on a classic Amiga. But anyway, speaking of looking like that, maybe it's time to actually for you guys to get into the
play.
Are you still connected?
I did have a question in regards to that. So
Mhm.
did you actually make the painting of Final Fight, or was it just straight to Metro Siege?
Yeah, like, so I never my opinion is, as someone that's obsessively creative, like, I thought I was going to be a comic book creator and artist before I fell in love with video games, and also learned that it's easier to make better money in the game industry than in comics, especially back then. What's that?
I was telling Wes we could get set up while you're
Your
answering.
camera froze, by the way.
Oh no! Again,
Whose camera froze?
Mine
Ian's
did.
camera froze,
Oh, okay.
by the way. Yeah.
But anyway, so the point is, that's how it started. So it started purely as an Amiga project. But over time, it became obvious to the team we weren't trying to make the best beat 'em up game for Amiga. We were trying to make the best possible real 16-bit beat 'em up we could. So luckily, we were able to expand the expand the authoring system, and make it so that we could simultaneously develop Metro Siege for other systems, modern systems, and Neo Geo. And speaking of stress with the Kickstarter, as we were getting ready to launch the Kickstarter for Metro Siege, that's when the announcement came out for the pre-order sales of the Neo Geo AES Plus.
Oh wow!
It was a shockwave. Talk like
timing.
Okay, so
we had to figure out, how is that going to affect the market? Are there still going to be
That's
those
crazy.
hardcore collectors that understand that when you're buying, the reason that the PlayOn and SNK can re-release those classic, amazing, high quality games for $90 is because they got their money back 10 billion fold. I'm only slightly exaggerating, over the decades, right? Back in the day, they could hire teams of 17 plus people to work overtime for over a year to make a AAA game. And they knew they would make their money back on the sales of the game and the arcade like profit and all that stuff. And then after that, for years, you could get the game on Steam, on virtual machine, on Wii and stuff, everything, right? Yeah, you guys might have to reconnect.
Yeah,
It doesn't remember the game ID unless you refresh the browser, so you should just be able to both choose connect, and it should work.
Yeah, you
Try
ready
it
to go?
again.
So for those,
I'm reconnecting.
yeah,
Okay.
for those who don't know, Din and I think Wes, right, are trying to connect to do online multiplayer with the web demo of Metro Siege.
It's
Yes,
No,
still,
there is a web demo available of Metro Siege, which I'll definitely be linking
Yeah.
in the description.
Yeah.
are you good
So you
now?
can try it out for
Yeah,
yourself.
good. Who do
Yep.
you want to pick? You pick. You pick first.
I realize I need to move.
So
the
that
camera
play is
right.
only going to be for Steam, right? Or we find a ways to do it on the.
Well,
I heard Neo
you
Geo
will
had
be able to play up faces. Oh no, I should keep my eyes off of the video when people are talking because it's off sync by several seconds.
Yeah.
But I was just going to say, what was I talking about? Yeah, so if you get the Steam version, the digital version of Metro Siege, including on the Kickstarter, once all the versions are done, you'll be able to play all of them on Steam. So you'll be able to play the Neo Geo version, a modern widescreen PC version, and the Amiga version. So you buy the one digital game, you get to play all three, and there will be differences. So yeah, and like there will be different playable characters on each, not the whole cast, but at least one character will be totally unique across all versions.
Oh, really? So one character is going to be totally unique across all versions of the game.
Correct. So that'll encourage people. Like you're not just buying a game, you're getting 3 versions that will look, sound, and play a little bit different. But then the real cherry on top, like once you've played all 3 characters of
who you
the
want to play?
Neo
I'll
Geo
play the guy.
version.
I'm Kim.
All right, cool.
So the big thing, if you've not played yet, and the big difference with every other beat 'em up ever, is to grab an item. You have to press the button one more time, guys, to get into the game if you've not got into there yet. So yeah, you have to press basically the attack button once to select and then once to confirm. Press one more time, somebody. Or maybe you already did and there's this few second delay.
It's
Yeah,
the
there
delay,
is.
yeah,
All
delay.
right,
You'd
sweet.
have to look
Okay.
up your Discord, yeah, and get
Guys, what are you,
Discord,
stupid? Do it. No, I'm
There
kidding.
you go. Approved Discord,
God,
yeah,
these
yeah,
guys are slow.
yeah.
Awesome. So the big thing to know with this game that's very different from all the other games, we wanted to make things much more deliberate. So there's actually a grab attempt when you play Metro Siege. You don't automatically grab people by rubbing into them. And it's the same thing with items. So how many of you have played? How many fights? How many little brothers have gotten punched by accidentally grabbing a trash turkey that their big brother needed in the moment? Or just grabbing your big brother's character, you know what I mean? That's really bad.
Yeah.
I think I saw Face in a previous video on your channel playing Streets of Rage 3 and noticing the differences in difficulty between that and Bare Knuckle 3. And like that gets really bad in some of the levels where you've got these like little train track riding machines that come plowing through. And not only can you accidentally grab an enemy, you can accidentally grab your friend when you're trying to get the hell out of the way.
Yeah. I know you're talking. I know you're talking about. I know you're talking about, and you be like, "Dag," and then you sometimes
it's like, "Oops, sorry, buddy. I just got both of us crushed by a locomotive because somehow I don't have control of my body, and just because we both walked in the same general area, I grabbed you." So in Metro Siege, I realized I had kind of an epiphany that actually slowing things down a tiny bit makes the game faster and more engaging because it keeps your brain engaged. You're making more deliberate decisions all the time and more specific deliberate input, right? So, but it's the same thing. To grab that trash turkey, you have to line up with it, hold attack, and tap down. So that'll be different. There'll be more dedicated buttons. On the Amiga, we had to support minimum 2 buttons. But for Neo Geo and Modern, obviously, we can support as many buttons as we want. So But and that way, you can literally walk right over a trash turkey or a delicious trash burger and pound the attack button. And unless you hold down and then tap it, you won't accidentally grab it. So you can get right up into the same area of combat where your friend needs help, your co-op player, and you can bail them out. You can drop kick right through them and hit the enemy that might kill them and pound the button, and you're not going to accidentally grab the health pickup they
Grab
need.
the health.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Said Bobby.
like
Yeah, that happens more often than people think as well. Grabbing
Right.
their health by accident,
And-
when you
Yeah.
actually wanted to punch Galcia instead,
Yeah.
you're grabbing health, and you've already got full health, and you're like, I've just wasted this. Yeah, that
Yeah.
does happen a lot more more often than we think as well. To be fair,
Right. And
Definitely.
the fact is that they designed the games trying to avoid that, right? So now that we've eliminated that concern in Metro Siege, we can design the game much more openly because we don't have to worry about causing those situations as much, right? But more importantly, like
Oh, yeah,
as
'cause
someone who loves the genre, it always drove me nuts that like I said, every genre evolves. It becomes more and more pigeonholed. And boy, if you want to see that, like even with the fan base, shmups, if you're a game developer, you better be careful if you design a shmup because you will get the most hate. You will get the most hate from the community. Like they're like, it's a dogma. If it's a shmup, it has to be a bullet hell. It has to be this. It has to be this. It has to be one hit death. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's hardcore. But all game genres. Yeah, go ahead.
A question though. So, what was the response to Metro Siege from the Beatemup fans? Like,
Yeah.
were they super critical? Were they accepting? Like, what was
Yep.
the response?
Everyone, we've had really good luck. Everyone that we've been in contact with that gave the game a shot, and that like the big thing is, are we able to tell them the differences? Like you can get super frustrated if you think you should just be able to rub up on someone to grab them, or like, I am going to die. Why the hell aren't I grabbing this trash turkey? I'm standing right on top of it. Like that'll frustrate the hell out of you if no one tells you that it's different in this game. So that's our job as game developers to make sure when this is a finished game, it guides the player, even if like they're like me and just refuse to read manuals, like the physical versions of the game. But we need to make sure that the player will learn this just built into the gameplay, that it doesn't waste their time with a boring tutorial, but like it'll be impossible to not learn these differences really quickly and understand them, right? That's our job. If we fail at that, that's our fault, right? But luckily, like I said, everyone we've been able to let play the game, all of the YouTubers who ended up playing the demo, they're like hardcore. They're really into the art of game design. They followed our channel, so they knew going in that we do everything a bit different. Like like it was a big risk for us to do Damon Claw the way it is because it's a lost genre. It's a hard sell. Like the most negative feedback we had from people are like this. Like one person literally said, like was really upset and said, "This game is crap. There's no level design," and like they were 100% right from their perspective. They're thinking level literally, like environment. Like, why does this look like a Castlevania 3, but there's no platforming, right? Totally valid if you're expecting that. It's our job to convince you, no, I know that thing that you are used to is totally missing, but it's because we're focusing the gameplay on something totally different. The emphasis is on the nonstop adjusting to enemies coming from left, right, and above and below, that kind of thing. So, but like at Bitbeam Canon, which we're not solely responsible for Metro Siege. We're working with great guys. The amazing programmer Alex Brown, which is called Enable Software. He's the programmer, not just of Metro Siege, but the amazing authoring system that we're going to, knock on wood, make many games on for not just Amiga, but Neo Geo modern systems, and hopefully eventually Mega Drive. So if you're a Genesis/Mega Drive fan and you like what you're seeing with Metro Siege, we're hoping to also make a Mega Drive version at some point as well. Yep.
Okay. Oh wow. Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
I do remember hearing about the Mega Drive version. I was going to ask about that.
Yep.
So
But
for the Neo
yeah,
Geo version, I did notice you guys are doing a different set of sprites for that.
Yeah.
Gotta respect that for sure.
Oh,
Oh,
didn't they finish that sprites for the other version, right? Oh, is that what
Yeah.
is that? Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah, so what we're doing in general, one, like I said, every game we do, we make differences with each platform to
Oh wow.
encourage people
To play it
so
on different
that
platforms.
exactly, and then like you get the digital version that has all three in the case of Metro Siege and Damon Claw.
Uh-huh.
You might really prefer the widescreen modern version that can have as many extra special effects as we want and all that. But once you get really good at that, and once you've played through with both characters on that version, suddenly you might go, you know what? The gameplay for the second playable character on every version is totally different and unique, really different gameplay, really different look, different story. So, you know, it adds a lot of extra replay value. Now it's not
Yeah.
just I have an itch to play Metro Siege right now. It's which version of Metro Siege
Yeah.
do I want to
Yeah.
play right now?
Yeah.
And yeah, same thing with Damon Claw. So on Damon Claw, like the Neo Geo version, we custom designed the second playable character to better show off some of the graphic and sprite power of the Neo Geo.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
like as part of her attacks, she can summon these pretty damn big and interesting looking demons. So like you know how in most beat 'em ups or hack and slash games, you can button mash an attack combo.
Yeah.
So with her
Yeah.
gameplay in Damon Claw, specifically Neo Geo version, if you hold the direction for the final attack of the 3-hit combo, if she has enough mana, instead of doing a regular strong attack with her weapon, she'll summon a big ass demon of some kind to do the final super strong attack. And
Okay.
it's a chance to put use to like the more sprite power of the Neo
Yeah.
Geo and put some really big, cool looking sprites on screen.
Uh-huh.
Mhm. I think you probably
The que-
answered this question before, but I'll ask
Uh-huh.
it again just in case. Is there any specific game that is inspired Metro
Yeah.
Siege?
I was
By
about to say that.
far the biggest is
Uh-huh.
Streets of Rage 2. I
Oh
consider
wow.
that the current ultimate beat 'em up game, especially 16-bit. Like this might be, you know, this might trigger a lot of hate in the comment section, but I actually think that Streets of Rage 2 found a better balance than not only Streets of Rage 3 or Bare Knuckle 3, but even Streets of Rage 4. I'm hardcore old school that way. Like, don't get me wrong, great game, very high quality. But to me, the purity of where they kept it in Streets
Uh-huh.
of Rage 2, the balance of how long the game is and how they keep mixing things up in Streets of Rage 2, to
Mhm.
me, that's the perfect. You can enjoy the game from beginning to end in one sitting. To me,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
another thing that got lost in the modern idea of what gives value to a game. That's another thing we have to fight. So Damon Claw is not a long game. Once you're
Uh-huh.
good, you can you could play through the whole game and beat it in like a half hour.
Mhm.
But so the point is, we could have spent the same amount of time developing Damon Claw and just threw in a ton of extra levels and made each level longer and made you fight the same enemies more,
More.
right? Like adding grinding, because the the majority of the gaming community for the last several decades has been conditioned that it doesn't matter what genre of game, value equals how many hours it takes to play.
Mm.
Mhm.
And like our attitude is very different. It's how often you want to play the game again. Like
Yeah.
going back to Black
Yes.
Belt, it's like that game,
That's a
once
good
you're good, you
question.
could beat Black Belt in 15 minutes.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
you
the
could be yeah.
speedrunner with no
Yeah.
like glitch abuses, they can beat the game in like 12 minutes, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
12 minutes of nonstop visceral fun. And later that day, you might want to play through the whole game again.
Yeah.
Like to me, that's value. Like even like I love some games that take many hours to beat, but you're only going to replay that game maybe once a year, maybe a few times in your lifetime.
Yeah.
Like if we design arcade games, like the ideal sitting time is somewhere between a half hour and on the outside an hour and a half, but it should
Yeah.
be fun and not start boring you. Like that's
Well,
one of the things I want to avoid with like that's the one weakness of the genre of beat 'em ups to me
Yeah.
is you
I'm
end
glad
up
you mentioned
in
that.
you
Yeah.
end up in what I call button mash hypnosis halfway through the game. And
Yeah.
like 45 minutes in even the highest quality games like Sengoku 3, technically that's a hack and slash and not a beat 'em up. But stick with me, it's the same thing. It's like they're
Yeah, it
sister
is.
genres. It's a
Yeah,
reskin
yeah.
of a beat 'em up, basically.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But like if you're playing for past 45 minutes and you're seeing mostly the same enemies and nothing really new is in being introduced to the gameplay. It's
Yeah.
just, oh, look, it's a similar enemy, but now they have even more hit points and now they do even more damage to you. To me, that's not valid, adding valid length to the game. That's
Yeah.
just like falling trap to this.
That's just
We
fluff.
have to make it take longer to beat or otherwise
Yeah,
people are going to
yeah.
call the game cheap.
Just
So all
fluff.
that,
Yeah.
so all that time we spent balancing and making sure that every part of Damon Claw, and then we'll do the same, every part of Metro Siege, we want it to surprise the player. We want to offer something unique in each level. We want suddenly the player to go, like, to wake you up. If you start falling into that kind of hypnotic pattern of button mashing, we want the players to keep going, holy crap, like, what was that? Why did this guy just hand my ass to me? Oh, I can't do that now, at least not with these types of new enemy behaviors that get introduced later in the level. And then the game will finish in a gratifying way. That's the goal. And then you're like, damn, that was fun. And yeah, you might say, I wish it was longer, but the goal is that you're gonna want to play again later that day or tomorrow. And like Streets
Good
of Rage
question, though.
2. My brother and I've been playing that. Sorry. My brother and I've been
Yeah, go on.
playing Streets of Rage 2 for decades.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll shut up now. Go ahead. Sorry.
No. Just a question though, because I like what you were saying about that. But just a
Yeah.
question though, because we had this conversation on stream the other day.
Yeah, I was about to bring it up as well.
How do you get the player to come back again?
Yeah,
Because,
so-
okay, we've had the surprises, so
Yep.
we've seen everything within that 45 minutes of playthrough, right? So
Yep.
we've seen
Yeah.
everything now.
Yep.
How do you now get the player to return to put the game
Yep.
on tomorrow and then put
Man,
it on?
maybe you guys should force yourself to start playing through the demo again so that people aren't.
Yeah.
I do wave my
Go
hands
with the
a
demo
lot,
again.
which
Yeah.
that's some movement on screen. But so the key is one of the keys is offer enough in the gameplay. Yes, that's big, but offer enough in the gameplay mechanic itself that the player themselves can mix things up. They can
Yeah.
decide to play with certain styles, and even mid-game, right? So like that's one of the things. There's a fairly modern franchise I love that's totally different called Dishonored, which is based on the Thief series.
Yeah.
Like this is like, first person like stealth action game, you know what I mean? Like really great games. They take a long time to beat, but the really cool thing is you can play through the whole game like just being a meat grinder of nonstop death. You could be slaughtering, dismembering everyone around you, or you could play super stealthy where you could beat the entire game where no enemy ever even knew you were there, and you could beat the whole game and everything in between. And you could switch it up. You could be playing stealthily and you could see and hear what some guy's saying, and you go, wow, that character is a real freaking piece of crap, like just an incredibly evil person. And so you could have been playing stealthily the whole time, and then you're like, no, I need to like slowly dismember this guy and make him suffer and give him a grisly death. You know what I mean? And so when it comes to beat 'em ups, right? Like we added, so my favorite mechanic that was critical to add to Metro Siege is and this will just be its own dedicated button on Modern and Neo Geo, but on the Amiga, if you hold attack and then tap or hold back, you'll block, right?
Oh, that's how you block.
Do
Okay.
that, boys. Do that,
Yes.
boys. Yeah, do that, boys. So it's on screen visually.
No, I didn't. I was gonna ask you, how do you block?
Yeah, so you hold attack, and keep in mind this is only for the Amiga version. There'll be a dedicated block button on Neo Geo and Modern, but on the Amiga version, you hold attack and you hold back, like whichever way you're facing, you hold the opposite direction.
I got you.
That'll block, but like. There's something I call Christmas list game design. Adding new features isn't enough unless you really make it useful in the game and you really balance the gameplay and make it very rewarding.
Yeah.
So here's the thing about blocking. It's not an afterthought. It's an integral part of the gameplay once you get good. So if you just sit there blocking for a long time, yes, that will successfully block the attacks of weak attacks of weak enemies. But if you try to hold block for a long time and someone walks up to you with a 2x4 or jump kicks you, or a really big guy comes at you and does a haymaker, you're either, depending on the severity of the attack, you're either going to take reduced damage and stumble back, or you're going to get knocked on your ass and take full damage. So you can't abuse the block mechanic. But there's a whole other layer on top of that. If you time the block perfectly so that the split second before the enemy attack is going to hit you, this is where I said you could, if you slow the game down slightly, you make it faster and more exciting because the player's brain stays engaged and they're waiting for that split second timing with that input. So we had to slow it down slightly so the enemy has that has that half second where they're pulling back with their fist before they're going to jab at you. But what that does is your mind stays engaged and you're like, and so if you time it perfectly, you automatically do a counterattack that does bonus damage to the enemy, but it also earns you back a little bit of health and a little bit of mana. So there's risk versus reward. That's a huge part of keeping the player engaged. And they could play through not only as different characters, but even with each character with very different gameplay. You could be like, I want to beat, you could give, the more options you have as a player, you could say, like, imagine you're fighting Officer Bob. He kind of embarrasses you, killing you or knocking you down. And you come back and you're like, you know what, you Emmer effer?
Yo, we wrecked him.
I'm pissed off at you, so I am going to beat you with a counterattack, period, right?
Oh, so you could do that against the boss?
Yes. So, but that's the thing. The more you play, the more you play, the less you learn the things you could do. And this is this is like, I should not be telling you guys because I know other people making other beat 'em up games are going to love this idea and run with it. Din, you've probably heard this idea before from our Patreon videos and stuff, but we're going to work in custom, like, what are the visceral ways? Like I talked about gameplay mechanic, the way to reward the player for doing a counterattack versus a boss.
Yeah.
What if there's a custom, like, I just got my ass handed to me animation that the boss plays when you pull off a really risky counter against their strong attack? Like, what if we did that to some degree with Damon Claw? So if you catch the enemy when he just did an attack and you counterattack with a flaming magic uppercut, the boss goes stumbling back, grabbing his face, and his feathers of his head are on fire. It's a special animation for when you do bonus damage, right? So that's the other thing, like what you guys were saying before with, okay, but the first time they play through, they know all the surprises. How do you keep them interested? There's going to be layers of surprises that they might not find all of them until they've played the game literally hundreds of times through.
Okay.
So, but there's that, like I said, even without that, like Streets of Rage 2, the reason that my brother and I keep playing, there's so many options. And by the way, there's even exploits. Do you guys know the best bug that you can exploit in Streets of Rage 2 that is super fun for 2-player mode?
Oh,
I don't know, but I guarantee Din knows.
Yeah. I was about to say, it's in my head.
So my brother and I discovered this accidentally. This was pretty much before the internet or high-speed internet, and we're old. But so in 2-player mode, you know how you can kind of walk around and trick enemies to kind of get into a clump of enemies?
Yeah.
Like by walking around, you get them to chase you, and you like 2 players can get them all into a big group. If you do that in Streets of Rage 2, and you get good enough timing so that both players punch into the group of players at the same exact frame, so
it
within
takes a
like
bunch
a
of energy,
60th of a
right?
second, it causes an infinite loop. The game gets stuck. You'll hear this really gratifying like grrr noise.
Oh, you're talking about that. I know you're talking
And
about.
the game
Okay.
freezes for as long as it takes for every enemy that got caught in that loop, they all die.
Okay.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I've seen that. I've
Hit it
seen
on the
that.
same frame.
The handshake of death.
Yeah, so it takes a lot of skill to develop. It's one of those things you play it a ton, you'll learn accidentally, but then mastering doing that, and my brother and I got so good. You know that later section where you come up that elevator and there's the big hopping robots?
Yeah.
With the annoying like electric whip
Very
kind of
annoying.
attacks?
Yeah.
Yeah, so during that elevator ride, you can lose a ton of lives, but if you get really good at corralling the enemies into a blob of enemies and doing what I call Wonder Twin powers, I don't know if you guys remember that old cartoon
Yeah, I know
series.
that. I know that.
What the heck was it? The Justice League, I think.
The Justice League, yeah.
Yeah. So there were these twins that would touch their fists together, their rings, I think, and like could transform themselves. But so basically, my brother and I called it that because you have to like touch fists at the same time with the blob of enemies in the middle. But super gratifying to get good at, and it really helps beat the game
we
in like
getting
the
any of
hardest
that?
setting.
Are we getting into that type of stuff in Metro Siege?
Potentially, I don't want to say anymore.
Okay, that's fine.
We're definitely going to put surprises in there that continually reward replay, record mastering your full move set with all characters. And who knows, maybe if one player picks one specific character and one player picks another specific character in a specific situation against specific enemies, maybe
Yeah.
something cool will happen. You know what I mean?
That's cool.
That's good.
So-
That's good.
Like, and again, it's not about throwing in a million, and that's the thing that's driving me nuts about so many modern games, which are superbly high quality. Like the new Ninja Turtles, the new He-Man game looks like it's going to be fantastic. Like these are Streets of Rage 4. They're great games, but the new marketing paradigm has been so long. Add more levels, add more, choose your branch, and the like just trying to play the game the fastest way. You're still going to be sitting there for like 2 hours to play through a beat 'em up. And our point is, as a tiny developer team, our time is way better spent making a game that you might be able to beat in an hour, but you're going to have a hell of a lot of fun nonstop that whole hour, and you're going to want to play again. That's the value we can bring. But it is a risk to us. Like I said, like it hurts our sales right now trying to convince people, you know, that thing that you just took for granted all this time, that if it's a side scroller, it needs platforming, that if it's even if it's an action game, it needs to take 30 hours to beat. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so we have to be ambassadors of our own games. We have to be out here on
Did you
YouTube.
just give us a hint of what the runtime of this game will be?
Yeah, certainly the range.
Yeah, the range.
Certainly
So we're
30 minutes to an hour, right?
We're looking at 30 minutes to 30 minutes skilled player, hour.
30 minutes to hour.
I can neither confirm nor deny that assessment, but my point is like, and keep in mind, we're still developing the game. So what we're going to do, like to us, that's a part of the gameplay design. It doesn't overstay its welcome, that it's fun the whole way through, and you end satisfied, like, wow, that like I got good, I beat the crap out of that boss, I humiliated these characters, like that was really gratifying, but I want to play again. That's to us, that's part of gameplay design. It's not just what moves and stuff like that. How gratifying, and does the player feel gratified but want more? And that got lost for the last several decades in action gameplay design. Like it became like a marketing thing that everyone is kind of enslaved to, or like afraid of going against. It's like, no, like we have to add a bajillion other levels, even if it's going to be the same enemies or recolored enemies. Like we have to do it. And like we're saying, we understand, and we're not trying to pull a bait and switch, and we're not trying to do less work to make a shorter game and expect you to pay the same price. It's a hard sell for us. We need to we're spending that time constantly replaying the game and saying, where else can we really surprise the player with something that's actually gratifying, that they want to do it again, they want to explore? Where else can I do this? What other special situations? And like, what other ways could I have beat this enemy? You know what I mean?
Boys, I know you lot are locked in. Well, Din is locked in. Din hasn't said nothing for the past. He is locked
we was
in.
playing. So my question was this: Did y'all expect to like knock out the park this Kickstarter, or you guys were like on edge about it? Like, what did you guys think about the whole Kickstarter campaign? Like,
we were all we had no idea. So that's a critical thing. I'm actually going to be a guest on another YouTube channel called Project COE, I think. I'm pretty sure that's correct. But stay tuned on my YouTube channel. I'll comment in when I verify that. But it should be out sometime near the end of next week, I think. But all about my advice, because I've been a part of several successful and a couple of failed crowdfunding campaigns.
Yeah.
And it's going to be basically everything I learned, what definitely to watch out, to avoid doing,
Yeah.
and what definitely helps increase your odds of a successful campaign.
Mhm.
But so without spoiling that too much, we had no idea going in, so it was critical for us. Like Metro Siege has been for many years a labor of love that was forced to be a side project for every team member. So for
Mm.
years, it would only make a little bit of progress at a time. But we brought it to a point, thanks to the programmer's amazing work on the entire authoring system. We now have a workflow where there's no bottlenecks. Each team member can keep working and making progress on the game without getting stuck or waiting for another. Like the artist doesn't have to wait for the programmer and vice versa.
Yeah.
Like that is really robust now. So we were like, okay, now's the time. We're wrapping up Damon Claw. We can put Metro Siege in the spotlight and see if we could campaign successfully enough to work on it full time, at least some of the team members, me being the critical, like I'm the lead game designer and lead graphic artist.
Uh-huh.
So like there's an enormous amount of work hours I left to do for me to finish the game.
Yeah.
So that
We
was
appreciate
critical
you for
that thank you very
we
much. But we all had to understand that it's not make or break. Even if the
Mhm.
Kickstarter failed, we're still making the game. It'll just take longer, probably much longer. And the
Yeah.
more it funds, the faster and the better the game can do. But we're super obsessive with our standards. So we're never going to compromise the quality of the game. We would extend development, right?
Mm.
So because it funded well enough that I can focus full time for a long time, that guarantees rapid development, which is great. And that means the game would get done faster than it otherwise would have.
Uh-huh.
But we set up that Kickstarter. We asked for only 16,000 euros for the minimum goal.
I saw that. I was
That's
crazy.
that's one of the strategies, right? It's a dual-edged blade. It's very dangerous. If
Yeah.
you absolutely need a certain amount of money, like let's say you absolutely need 80,000 to make the game,
Yeah.
it's incredibly dangerous to do what we did.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
knew that like it's a labor of love. We're all going to make the game no matter what. It'll just take longer.
So it's just
So that gave us the safety to say, because of the algorithm, it's way better on Kickstarter to set your funding goal lower, because then Kickstarter's algorithm notices, oh, they're trending like they're going to successfully. Ironically, the campaigns that don't need the boost in the algorithm, they get the
Yeah.
boost in the algorithm, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Kickstarter wants to pick a winner, because if they show on their front page, hey, this campaign is doing well, they don't want to put up a bunch of campaigns that
Yeah, I
they
got
like
you.
but that are going to fail. That'll make them look bad as a business model. Like people will go,
Uh-huh.
why am I going to crowdfund on Kickstarter? Because look at all the campaigns that fail. So
Yeah.
their algorithm goes, oh, these guys are going to succeed anyway, so we're going to put them on the front page and they're going to succeed even more. That's just good business for them,
And
right?
it's gonna make
So
good for them too. Yeah.
exactly. So, but that's part of the trick. If it's safe for you to do financially, if you're going to finish your game no matter what, just take longer, then you could set a low goal, and that drastically increases the odds that you'll not only reach that goal, but you'll go beyond. So that's one of the tactics. But again, it's a dual-edged blade. Do not use that tactic. If you absolutely like, if you're paying other team members and they refuse to work, which makes perfect sense, if you don't allow them to eat and pay their rent to survive while they work the crazy hours to make on the game with you, you can't use that tactic, right?
Yes, definitely
And
can.
too many people, they fall into that trap where they think they see a number. Like we ended up funding for like 84, almost 85,000 euros, and converted to US dollars, that's nearly $100,000. And
Yeah.
people that don't have experience with it, they see that number and they imagine them getting that money. And they go, holy shit, that's awesome. I could easily make a game with
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
much money and that much time. What they don't understand is Kickstarter takes a cut, the tax man takes a cut, the banks take a cut. The money you see in the Kickstarter counts all of the shipping fees. When
Yeah.
when you're delivering physical material, like actual physical copies of the game, the manufacturing costs are enormous. So
Yeah,
the actual money that you get when you reserve, and you'd better reserve that money and not touch it for the manufacturing and the shipping, because you will be in deep crap if you don't do that. You will end up in a nightmare of crap. if you don't reserve that money and not touch it. So the money you have left over for the game is, let's say you think you thought you got 100,000, you actually got more like 50,000. And now take that 50,000, divide it between a minimum for a good game of 3, usually more like 5 or more team members who,
Yeah.
like, let's say your core team, let's say if you have the dream team of super talented, super fast, super experienced team members that are willing to work for less than minimum wage overtime for a year, right? That's the ideal scenario. You divide that 50,000 by even just a team of 3 members, and they need to live on that. 50,000 divided by 3. That's way less money than any team member would make if they worked as a part-time clerk at Walmart.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be working,
Yeah,
there'd be no
yeah,
stress, and they wouldn't be working overtime.
Straight love.
the whole
It's straight
time.
love. It's basically love.
Yeah, if you don't love making retro games, don't do it for the money,
Don't do
because
it, yeah.
even when you think you
Oh,
there's
Uh-oh.
there won't be profit on Metro Siege
Mhm.
unless we put in an enormous amount of work, and it'll take an enormous amount of time.
Uh-huh.
Once we're selling the game on Steam and Switch
Uh-huh.
and things like that, and only if we continue to build a fan base, that's the only chance of ending up, if you divide it by the hours worked, of making Walmart cashier style money. And no insult to Walmart cashiers. They're awesome and critical for the functioning of modern societies. But the point is, like,
Yeah.
there's infinite better, safer, less stressful, less work intensive ways to make money.
Money.
Nah,
yeah.
you're right.
If you're
Yeah.
in it, so keep that in mind. If you see a retro indie developer and you see like a price you think is too expensive for the game, they are not trying to rip you off. Like, there's no money. There's no money unless like they're super well established and they've made a deal with a giant IP. You know what I mean? Like, if they're making the modern retro pixel art game of like a giant franchise, like Terminator or something, yeah, there's probably money to be made there. You know what I mean? But if
But
they're like
still.
indie developers that don't have a giant following and they're working on truly original IP, not like giant, like universally recognized IP,
Yeah.
there's
Nah, it's
no
tough.
money.
It's
Yeah.
tough. There's no money. You get
Did
to
you crash the game?
I did. I did.
It could have
Reload.
something. It could have something to do. The online mode was added the most recently for the web version,
Yeah.
and I'm sure it was not heavily stress tested. Like, what happens if one player just nopes out and doesn't continue? So it's
Yeah.
like it thinks it's
Oh.
a 2-player game. It's connected, but the other player, like, it's the servers are built to kind of kick you out. So what happened is it probably kicked out the other player that wasn't doing anything, and that made the game bar for like, we're the hex player too. You know what I mean? That
No,
kind of thing.
I went to one player. Does it still count as the
Oh,
connected?
well, that's a great question. I don't even know for sure. I'm not the programmer, but basically because you started the game in 2-player mode online play, you're stress testing this demo in ways we never did before. You were like not doing anything for a long time. It was 2-player and then 1-player, but you were still technically on the server. All those things combined, yeah.
Yeah.
But usually the game is rock solid. And keep in mind, guys, the demo you've seen this time, if you weren't completely distracted with my hand waving and nonstop yapping, if you looked at any of the gameplay, the that's all 100% pixel for pixel, the Amiga version. So the Neo Geo version is going to be drastically enhanced visually.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at the Kickstarter campaign page, which again, you can still back everybody if you're interested, we're like, to fit all of the moves, all of the animation frames in the Amiga version, we literally had to use like a paper doll animation trick where you would be amazed how few body part images were just moving around and repositioning and only swapping out with a new body part image when we absolutely need to. Like, there's a tiny handful of body part images for the full set of animations. On the Neo Geo, we don't have to do that. So we're hand redrawing every frame of every animation to look as fluid and natural as possible on the Neo Geo version. That is an enormous amount of extra work. But
That's
to
crazy.
us, like,
A
we grew
lot of
up,
work.
yeah, and like the Neo Geo backers, they're paying a pretty penny. We're not going to give them a wow, that's a really good game for the Amiga on their Neo Geo that they spent $300+ on.
Mhm.
Like, plus we love
Yeah.
the Neo Geo. Like, we
Yeah.
love the Amiga, and we knew what it was capable of, and we made the best possible version of the game for the Amiga. But we're doing the same thing for the Neo Geo. So anything we need to redo to make it
You
as
guys
awesome
will
as
do
we
it.
can, that we're doing it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that keep that in
Okay,
mind,
so
guys.
I do,
And the
I have a
Amiga
question.
version, the
Yeah.
version you've been playing, just like the crappy Final Fight port to the Amiga was a 16 color game, that demo you've been playing, it thinks it's a 16 color game. We did so much hardware banging and used so much hardware specific Amiga tricks that
Yeah.
the only way it could run well is if you basically tricked the game into thinking it was 16 color. But with an enormous amount of work between me and the other artist and the programmer, we managed to get on average about 60 colors on screen at a given time.
How big
So
is the
Mega
team?
Drive. It is tiny. The core
Yeah.
team is definitely the programmer Alex Brown, myself, and then the artist slash musician who I think is doing an amazing job. I don't know if everyone could hear the music really
No,
well.
I've kind of turned
but-
it down a fair bit, to be
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah, like so people could hear me ranting the whole
Mhm.
time. My apologies, guys, for
That's all right.
monopolizing the air.
That's
Don't
all
you
good,
worry.
man.
Don't you worry.
You could tell I'm super passionate, and I put all that love
Yeah.
and thought into the
No,
game.
that's
You
a
got-
good thing.
You
Yeah.
got to listen. You gotta be this passionate to make these kind of games, because
Yeah.
one of my questions was going to be
Mhm.
like, what made you pick this style of game over like the modernized beat 'em up style? You know, like maybe Absolute, Streets of Rage, and obviously it's the love. You know, if you have more ways you could elaborate on that question, you know, the stage is
Yeah,
floor is
I'm
yours.
I'm so sorry. I got distracted for the first half. I heard the part about compared basically to modern beat 'em ups. Like basically, if you just like beat 'em ups,
Yeah,
it's way easier and way faster, and you're dealing with way less limits for the programmer and the artist to just make the game using like Unity or Unreal Engine or Game Maker Studio. And it's a
yeah,
2D game. You could make a completely AAA quality game, modern beat 'em up game with Game Maker Studio or Construct 3 or something like that. We're actually using Construct 3 to make the PC version of Damon Claw, in fact.
oh
And
wow,
like we can do anything we want with it. It's perfect. But my point is, if you just love the genre of beat 'em ups and you want to make the best like modern, even if it's retro style pixel art,
yeah,
it's so much less work to do it that way than to hardcore code for a 16-bit system.
yeah,
And
for
the Amiga
sure.
is the worst of all. You have to do like literally between 2 and 4 times the work as compared to Mega Drive. And then Neo Geo's even easier because it's
Uh-huh.
faster processor, more powerful graphics. So, but you're still dealing with massive memory limits, technical limits. You believe it or not, even on the Neo Geo, if you want to add a lot of layered scrolling, like you could see in Metro Siege, we have the back city layer, the main layer, and then like foreground poles and stuff.
Yeah,
Believe it or not, even the powerful Neo Geo, everything is made of sprites on the Neo Geo except the HUD.
Uh-huh.
Right? Everything. So every layer of scrolling, you're gobbling up sprites. So even though it can display a ton of sprites, if you start making like a beat 'em up with lots of characters and you try to get a lot of layers of scrolling, you're going to start maxing out and running out of sprites. So like that's just a concern you don't need to have at all on the modern version. Like if you're making the game purely for modern systems, you can, like I said, your man hours, your risk versus reward is drastically higher if you
Yeah.
make it so it'll actually run on Mega Drive or Neo Geo or especially Amiga, because you're forcing your game into a deeper niche that requires you to work way harder, more hours. And then you've got that side effect of now your game is not widescreen. And modern
Yeah.
players who just love beat 'em ups, they might see that as a downside,
Yeah.
right? Because it's like they want widescreen. Why do they want
They
a big
do.
black border on either side? So like like we've been saying, you need to love the true retro, the old consoles. You need to love it, or it just doesn't make any sense financially to put all these extra burdens and all
Nope.
these extra risks into very potential. You're certainly increasing the amount of work versus the payback.
So
Did
now,
I
Are there going to
hope
be
that
any
answered the
no-
question?
Is
Say
there
yeah,
that
you
again.
going to
did
be any crazy noticeable differences, like not just
Yeah.
character wise, maybe stage wise, or like
mechanics.
level wise, in the Steam version and the
Yeah.
Atari Neo Geo versions? Are they going to be like, oh my god, let's give an
Yep.
example. There's a lamppost here that's not there in the other version. Do you see what I mean? Is there going to be anything like that?
Yeah, so I can guarantee you, even though I'm not psychic and don't speak for the other team members, like I haven't talked to them about this directly, but I can guarantee you that the overwhelming majority of the differences between the systems is going to be the super specific decisions we make on let's make sure each version has at least one totally unique playable character. Just for
Okay,
fun,
That's
like
dope. That's dope.
that's brilliant.
and the
Yeah, that is
reason for
brilliant.
that is, like I said before, there's Christmas list game design, right?
Yeah.
We don't want to spread ourselves thin, making sure we add other differences that are fairly superficial. If we focus on the difference of the other selectable character or maybe characters, there's debate up in the air. There's like now we unlock the stretch goal of, excuse me, 4 playable characters. We already for each version. We already said the third playable character is going to be different for each one.
Mhm.
Oh wow.
Depending on time and budget, we could make it so the fourth one also is totally different, but that would take an enormous amount of extra work. So that'll
Yeah.
only happen if we continue to do really well with pre-order sales and can maybe even hire additional pixel artists that we know and trust to do the quality to design these other characters. So that's very possible. But the point is, uh, I like every ounce of work we put into the game, besides just making it look as great as we can for the platforms, it has to go to just perfecting the hell out of the gameplay
Yeah, yeah.
and making it fun, making it never get boring, and making people want to play again. But now I want to be more defensive. Now I want to be every boss counterattacking just to see
Yeah.
if I can find another custom animation where their nose bleeds and they collapse
Yeah,
or
yeah.
piss their pants or whatever.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That kind of thing. So I can guarantee you like that's where we're coming from. If there's more time, if there's more manpower we can put in on it, it's making the overall gameplay as awesome as possible and making that definitely one character as different and awesome and unique for all platforms so that you do want to play the other versions sometimes, even though they aren't widescreen. For example, if you're just playing the main PC version, keep in mind you're playing that on Steam or itch.io. There's going to be a menu when you load the game on Steam, and it's going to say, do you want to play the modern version? Do you want to play the Neo Geo version? Or do you want to play the Amiga version? And and there will be forced differences graphically and in sound because of the different abilities of each system, and we're leveraging the strengths and like hiding the weaknesses of each system to make it as good as we can. So they're inherently going to look a bit different and feel a bit different and sound a bit different, but then the focus of our time with differences is going to be at least the third playable character. But of course, keep in mind, like the Amiga is the bare minimum, so there's a lot of stuff. I didn't get into this yet, and my apologies, I could go on forever. Metro Siege, the big difference between it and even Final Fight, but especially Streets of Rage 2, is my philosophy was I want to go back to the pop Hollywood culture that inspired the entire genre. So the Japanese game studios that springboarded, that made these amazing games like Final Fight and eventually Streets of Rage, what they were inspired from were the late 80s, early 90s Hollywood vigilante movies, right? Like The Warriors and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. And to a lesser degree things like Death Wish and all that kind of stuff. So my thing was, as you could see with gameplay, I didn't want to do what everyone else is doing. You'll notice a decided lack of air juggling in Metro Siege. You could do a tiny bit, but just like I said, like every game, it was like air juggling is fun, but it's also extremely not like real combat. You know what I mean? Like you could end up with Blaze Fielding doing a jab and bouncing a 400-pound man up in the air with her jab. You know what I mean? And it
Yeah.
was
I love it though. By the way,
yeah,
I
exactly.
actually
So
love it.
that's
That's
my
one of
point.
my main stuff I love. Yeah,
I'm not criticizing that as
yeah,
bad.
yeah.
I'm saying the whole genre went that way.
I get what
And
you're
my
saying. No,
philosophy was I want every game I design to be like, this is familiar but different. It's a breath of
Yeah.
fresh air. He's going in a direction that everyone else did not go in.
It's like
Right?
Virtual Fighter, kind of.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And so, but like think of Streets of Rage 2. Like suddenly later on, you're fighting robots and space aliens, and Streets of Rage 3. It's like suddenly they're taking over the world's politicians with perfect human replica robots and stuff like that. And it's like, there is such a thing. Like to me, classic rhyming poetry, it will always be more powerful than like beatnik. You don't even need to rhyme poetry, right? Because when you're working with creativity within limits, you put way more thought, work, and effort into how can I best, like, what words can I pick to express myself the best way possible within these limits. When you've got no limits, it's like, you guys must have experienced it like I did when every game console was like emphasizing 3D, especially when we were getting to like Xbox 360. Like I remember walking into a store, and they were demoing a boxing game, right? And the boxing game looked technically amazing for its time. You literally could see like practically ray traced beads of sweat going down the boxer, but the gameplay sucked.
The gameplay
right?
is terrible.
So like
true.
the studio can lose focus on what's important. It's a video game. It's not a video. It's a video game. And like that always is going to be like our driving force. How do you maximize the fun factor? How do you use the visuals to not just communicate to the player well, but reward them when they do so, and even hint at the player, hey, like a really astute player might notice things just in the visuals of our games, the way we draw and animate certain things. It might be a clue that you could do something in the gameplay. Like putting, like that's where we want to put the extra work and effort, not just we'll throw in some other levels that might look different but play 99% the same as every other level. You know what I mean?
Is there anything that you've wanted to add that you couldn't add due to the limitations?
Yes.
And if you don't mind letting us know what they are.
That is such a great question, and I should not answer it.
Okay.
You should not. I didn't say I would not.
You give us a hint of.
Oh, the more you play, the more it'll become. It'll dawn on you. But I'll just say it, right?
Yeah.
And this is one of those things. It comes from initially a technical constraint, but also this is one of those things about Christmas list design. It wasn't purely because of the technical constraints of the Amiga. It was once you decide to add that as a feature, you've opened up a whole new can of worms of programming, game design, and debugging. And is that time better spent somewhere else? And in my opinion, it is. And here we go. Are you ready, guys? This is a world exclusive. No one else even thought of asking this question. So good job, guys. The big missing link, the big thing a lot of people will call a weakness to Metro Siege. But even if you do, please, guys, give it a try. And at some point, keep an eye on the game and see what these guys look once I give them a more advanced demo to play later in development. Let's see how they feel about it. But the point is, you'll notice Kim has weapons built in.
Yeah.
Right? No player can just grab a weapon. When you hit an enemy with a weapon, the weapon flashes and disappears. And that comes from two things. One, the initial technical constraint, but two, that consideration. If like that's the thing, if we had weapon usage in the game where any player could grab any weapon, I would not be able to be satisfied with the way they've handled it in Streets of Rage 2, 3, or Final Fight, where suddenly you have like one attack and like you can throw it.
Thank you, man.
Like, it's like if you're gonna do it, you need to dedicate an enormous amount of development time, which like there's no way. We're already pushing Metro Siege.
Streets of Rage 3 did a good job, though.
Streets of Rage 3 did it because they did it better with the weapons. They did it way better.
Yeah. They did it better, but still not what I would want to do.
Nah, I got you. They started.
Hold on. Can we delve into this a little bit more? Because this is very interesting now. You've got my ears perked up. So, how far would you have delved into it? Would you have delved into it in a case of I want a whole brand new auto combo for this set weapon itself?
Exactly those sorts of exactly those sorts of things. Like if it were to be
Now
there
I'm
just
upset because that is a good
No.
idea.
Yeah, but
Yeah, for
see,
sure.
that would literally require like $1 million. I'm not joking, like $1 million budget for the extra amount of work, or the game would have to come out in 10 years, not 1 year for the Amiga
Fair enough.
version and 1.5.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
if you do not make at least the minimal amount of financial considerations, you will disappear as a studio. I've had friends that dedicated years of their lives on top of their day jobs, working ridiculous hours and weekends, straining their family life. Uh, that's a whole other conversation, to make a high quality indie game only for it to flounder into obscurity and decimate their drive to ever make an indie game again. Right. And like I said, about be very careful about how much you think you need to fund and whether or not you're going to be able to finish the game, because
Yeah.
it's all over. You've absolutely destroyed your reputation. If you do a Kickstarter and you never like as Fonzie proved from Paprium, you could deliver your game 7 years late. Like the guy did everything wrong, unfortunately. Badmouth Fonzie, but from a PR point of view, the backers are extremely forgiving. Like we dealt with that with Damon Claw, lateness. Like the Mega Drive team lost one of their two programmers, and you can't just snap your fingers and find a skilled, available Mega Drive hardcore programmer to help the main programmer. So that was a big part of why the Mega Drive version was late by nearly a year. And thank goodness that team Neofit, who also makes Demons of Asterborg and Aster Bros for the Mega Drive and other systems, they really care. They're hardcore like us. The lead programmer at Neofid stayed up with me until 3 or 4 in the morning every day, including weekends, for nearly a year to make sure the game was not compromised in its quality. But my point is, if you're not willing to do that, you better be doing some really careful math and think of every cost. And because if you fund a game, late is one thing, but if you never deliver, if you flake on people, or you
forget
even
about it.
almost worse, if you deliver a crap version of your game,
Yeah,
you've just destroyed your reputation forever, and you might as well just leave. You might as well never try to do an indie game again. So take your responsibilities super seriously and be as open and transparent the whole time, and don't disappear for years. Like I said, that was the biggest mistake Fonzie made. Sorry, Fonzie. I really respect the fact that under the enormous stress, and he was pretty much working alone on the game for 7 years, he still delivered the Mega Drive version. So I respect that. But anyway. Yeah, it's you got to be super dedicated. But that's my point, is the weapon thing is, if we were to do it, it would either take an enormous amount of time out of making sure the core combat is as great as possible. And I refuse to do that. So the only other option is I win the lottery and can like just pay way more artists to like just do all of the stuff to really do justice to what we would want to do with like, once you can grab, and not just a weapon, but there would be very big gameplay differences between if you have a pipe. How long is the pipe? Is it a 2x4 or like something more like a bow staff, and like or like a bully club, a nightstick or tonfa type thing? And then exactly.
Isn't that what she's using? What is the weapons that she's
Yes,
using?
exactly. In the story, she is also a cop, and the plot of the story is like she's basically the main character in that her father is a seasoned detective in the same police force as her, and he disappears. And she's like going nuts with the police force, like, why the hell aren't you investigating this better? And they lay her off. Like, she starts trying to investigate on their own. Like, this is exactly the kind of plot you would find in a Hollywood movie back in the 90s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the cop that gets thrown off the force because they sense corruption in the higher ups of the police force. So her father disappears, and she takes because she's not a 400-pound or a muscle-bound man, she modifies riot gear armor and
Yeah.
police nightsticks. She has a tech friend who adds basically tasers into the ends of
Yeah.
Tanfa.
So
So
that's how
she
she
has
does that
a
attack, that taser in
yeah
attack. Okay, that's how she does it. Okay.
yeah. So
Explanation.
yeah, and so that's what makes it more believable in a Hollywood movie, down to earth sense, like a vigilante movie. Why can she
Yeah.
trade blows with like 300-pound muscle bound men? Why could she take hits from giant muscle bound men and keep fighting? She's got advanced body armor and Tonfa with tasers in it. So she doesn't grab. Like that's another huge
Yeah.
risk.
Yeah.
Like in designing a beat 'em up game, one of the star characters doesn't grab, but she can
Yeah.
stun and electrify multiple people, and she has more move combos than anyone else. So
Yeah, she seemed like
like,
that.
and I got a huge compliment from Din earlier before the stream that he was enjoying playing as Kim, even though I've heard from Din, right, that you really prefer the grappler style
Yeah.
characters. So like that's what we're going for, is even if it's a character that you don't usually like that style, we're going to do everything we can so that there's so many gratifying aspects to their gameplay that you're going to like it, and you might want to switch up for just fresh air. It's like, I'm always the grappling guy, I want to actually play through as this very different character and get
Yeah.
good at that, you know.
Yeah.
Chat is now going into a tangent and
Now,
speaking
now
about
speaking.
story.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, Wes. Sorry, Wes.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I'm
I can
saying
see chat, and chat's going
yeah,
wild.
real quick,
about
real
story.
quick.
But go
So
on, Wes. Go on, Wes.
now that we're on characters, right? Selecting,
Mhm.
I noticed this. I think you put this in the Kickstarter somewhere. It
Yep.
says selecting a character with different button
Yes.
unlocks an alternate version that looks entirely different.
Yes.
Will
Thanks
there
for
be
bringing that up.
Yeah, will there be alternate versions
Yes.
that share identical hitboxes,
Yes.
or it will be like subtle weight and range differences?
Yep,
Like,
no.
explain how
So
that goes.
yeah, so there's the 4 characters,
Yeah.
right? Upgraded because of the Kickstarter from 3 to 4. And at least the third one is going to be totally different for per platform.
Yeah.
But then for each, so there's going to be a huge
Listen
amount of
to this
replay
face.
value.
Listen to this face. It's crazy, yo.
Yeah, so there's going to be a huge amount of replay value there, and there's so many more moves. Even in Streets of Rage 2, like I should have stopped yammering and started talking about the gameplay. There's several ways to hit enemies while they're down. It's all risk versus reward, right?
Yeah.
There's a super safe way. You just get near them and hold attack and tap down. And depending on your range, you'll kick them or you'll do like a leg sweep. There's ways to knock enemies down with a built-in low attack, a leg sweep. There's like, you know, in Streets of Rage 2, once you get really good, you can jump backwards. If you tap jump without holding a direction and then immediately tap back, you'll jump backwards, so you're still facing forward. And one really gratifying thing you could do once you're really good in the game is you could have an enemy like dashing in toward you, and you jump backward away from them and kick.
Create
and
space.
They just plow their face right into your foot.
Yeah, you create space.
It takes really good game like timing and like really, really critical timing on your input. But like those are the things that really give a character a huge amount of replay value. Is as you get better and better, you realize you could do all these cool things and play with a lot of style and like really embarrass characters and bosses. But anyway, so the reskins are currently planned. And again, if I hit the lottery or something, we could switch up hitbox ranges and speeds of animations to make them even more different. But I certainly can't guarantee that because, again, I have to stay focused. We're already promising a ton for a tiny team in a short amount of time. So
get the core stuff out the way first.
Someday, like if this does well, someday there could be a Metro Siege Gold that introduces, or Deluxe, or Metro Siege 2 that introduces these things that we can't possibly fit into Metro Siege 1.
Or DLC?
Now with Metro Siege,
yeah, that's possible. Yeah.
Now with Metro Siege 2, are you going to keep the same style, or are you going to modernize the game?
That's a great question. So our love is pixel art, and I think someone mentioned like Corey. I'm doing a disservice to Corey, the amazing artist of Bitbeam Canon. He designed Officer Bob, and he's going to be designing most, if not all, of the bosses. That's up to him. He's currently going to be very busy with the game he launched called Metal Mac, which is like a really cool. Its core aesthetic is a spoof on Mega Man, but intentionally funny. And it's actually like each level and boss is going to spoof different classic styles of games. Like
That's dope.
part of it will spoof Contra, part of it will spoof Castlevania, that kind of thing. So it's
Oh,
going to add
Metal
a
Mac? Let me see
lot
that.
of yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I'm just
called
having a look
Metal
at
Mac.
it,
Yeah.
Metal
So
Mac.
if you
Yeah.
go to bitbeamcanon.com,
Yeah, I've just seen it.
yeah, you'll see all our game projects. And so Corey
Yeah,
was
yeah,
the lead artist for Damon Claw. He's an amazing pixel artist. He also is the lead game designer and artist for Metal Mac, so that's going to keep him busy. But as they're wrapping up Metal Mac, we'll be in the later phase of development for Metro Siege, so he's going to be able to come in and like tag team with me and add even more enhancements for the Neo Geo version and modern. So like the modern version takes the Neo Geo graphics, makes it widescreen, and adds tasteful translucent effects, right? Because
yeah.
the Neo Geo cannot do any translucent effects. But with modern, we could take those Neo Geo graphics and add glows to explosions and, you know, like Super Nintendo style. Like we don't want to take a 16-bit low res pixel art style game and just flood the screen with 24-bit particle effects flying everywhere. Like too many modern games did that, and to me that doesn't look as good as if you do
Yeah.
it with
It
more
looks messy sometimes.
restraint. Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's a clash. It doesn't
Yeah.
match, you know, aesthetically. But anyway, so yeah, like I'm not picking on games where you can air juggle a 400-pound guy with a jab. That can be super fun. But my point was every game in the genre went that way, and we decided to go in the opposite direction. Like, look, guys, look what other, not a replacement. We're not saying they should have done it this way, but look at this other. It's a breath of fresh air simply because no one else did this, right? And
Yeah.
it's like Metro Siege is more inspired by the vigilante movies than the rest of the genre. Like the block encounter was actually largely influenced by Knights of the Round by Capcom. Most of the people that played that game don't even know there is a block and counter attack game mechanic in that game. They just button mash the whole time. So like that makes the game easily twice as fun and cool once you learn that you can block and counter in that game. But
Does
anyway. Yeah,
does this game, but does Metro? What's going on with me? But does
Metro
Metro
Siege.
Siege?
Yeah.
Does Metro Siege incentivize you enough to use those mechanics, or can
Yes.
those players get away with just button mashing? Because I do,
Right.
I do understand, because there are some beat 'em ups. I'm not going to start mentioning names because we'll
Yeah,
go into
yeah.
a whole debate. But there are some beat 'em ups that have a lot of mechanics that you don't need.
Yes.
And
See,
yeah,
that's what I said about that's
Yeah.
Christmas list design. And
Yeah.
so many game designers, their attitude is like, I loved this from this game, I loved this from this game, I loved it. So I'm going to add it all in there. And you can do that, but you have to exercise restraint. And like I said, more is not better. It's like jazz music, right? It's like there was that realization that, or like, do you guys know the band The White Stripes? Again, I'm old, it's a ways back, but Seven Nation Army, don't like
Yeah.
their songs are simple but they're catchy as hell, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like every note of the few instruments they play matters, and it's saying something to you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas like you can get a combination of like the best musicians in the world all playing at once, like all trying to jam together, and it's going to be a cacophony of sounds because there's no direction, right?
yeah, yeah.
So
Okay.
like you could do like a small jazz band. They can do it if it's a band that it's very few people and they've been jamming together for decades and they
Yeah.
can kick ass kind of ad-libbing, right? But the more people you add to the team, especially if they're new team member, even if they're very
Good.
very skilled, it's not going to mesh together well. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
there's going to be less and less of a coherent theme and feeling to the thing, right? So I even forgot why I went down this road, but it's
Well,
I digressed a little too
it's
much to
alright.
remember the main question.
Yeah.
But it's
So is it, does the mechanics, like, are we gonna? Is the
yeah.
game
So thank
incentivizing
you so
to
much.
use
Wow, yeah, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
Usually I bring everyone, I derail everybody with my digressions.
You're
But
right.
so yeah. So it's critical that every move you add, you decide. Like you have to iterate. In other words, you have to add the feature in,
Yeah,
play test the hell out of it over and over and over again, and
definitely.
tweak the timing, tweak the hitbox, tweak the reaction animation by the enemies, tweak even the enemy AI, because now you've introduced this whole new behavior. Do the
Yep.
enemies react or predict properly based on this new gameplay mechanic? And if after a long time it's still not fun, you should actually gut that feature. You should remove it. Like, there are ideas that are brilliant on paper, but you're not making a game on paper. You're making a video game. And an idea could be a game can be mundane. Like, there are games like Mario, right? The classic Mario games, very few gameplay mechanics, but they perfected the use and the balance of those things. And they were
Yeah.
creative enough in different levels to give you new ways to interact with the world and enemies with these few things you can do. And like, so you could have a mundane thing like, you can jump off a wall, like a triangle jump, it's called for whatever reason, a wall jump in platformer games, right? And the first time I saw that was in the Batman game for the 8-bit Nintendo, which is an amazing quality game.
Yeah, that game is dope.
But the point is, like, that's a great gameplay feature, but you could implement it poorly and it could feel like crap and there could be no real reason for it to be in the game. And it can even break your level design. So a lot of designers, they'll add a feature and it's like either they have to redesign all their levels to take into the account. The player can skip the whole level. That was a huge risk with the Super Mario Brothers for the Super Nintendo. What was Super Mario World? Once they introduced the cape where you could fly, you could go up high and fly through a lot of levels. And they needed to do a lot of testing and level redesigning to make sure that didn't ruin the whole game.
They didn't put
And
no
so-
enemies in there.
So, like the counterattack, hitting enemies while they're down, it has to viscerally feel good when you pull it off. It has to punish you if you don't pull it off. And again, it's a video game. So there's like the raw data of gameplay. Like I said, if you successfully pull off a counter, you get back a little health points. So once you get really good at the game and you gain mana. So what if you've decided you want to beat this boss with your super strong attack that takes mana, but you don't have mana? So you do the math in your head and say, I'm going to risk countering to gain back mana quick enough so I can use the super strong move to beat the boss that way, right?
Yeah.
So there's that, and then there's the last cherry on top is using custom animations and sounds to make it especially gratifying to the player that they took greater risk for the reward.
I love that, and you're pulling off something that is slightly a bit more difficult than your average just punching. And you're
Yeah,
getting
exactly
more
right.
for it.
And like
I like that stuff.
you need to hint at the player that it's possible without boring tutorials. You
Yeah.
need to make sure they can figure out how to do it, or even explain it, but in a fun, not boring tutorial way.
Yeah.
And you need to make it rewarding. And if there's a big reward, there needs to be an equivalent punishment. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but when an enemy is down, you could do the safe kick, right? Like hold attack and tap down. But another thing you could do, one from across the screen, you could throw another enemy onto that guy, and that'll actually hurt him.
Put the guy down.
Or,
wicked.
yeah,
Really cool.
or you can jump up and tap down twice quickly on the
I've
D-pad.
seen him doing that.
I seen him do that.
knee drop.
With the
I saw
knee drop,
that.
he was using that a lot. Yeah, just a second ago.
Yeah.
So pulling in some of the corny ass shit from, remember when WWF was World Wrestling Federation?
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
guys old enough for that?
So,
So pulling in from that, do you remember how there were the tests of strength, right? So in Metro Siege, you don't just automatically grab someone by rubbing into them. You make grab attempts, you lunge forward and you reach, which can leave you open for counterattacks that might do more damage. But the same is true for enemies, right?
Yeah.
What if, and I haven't done this for Metro Siege, but it could happen. So again, an exclusive, and this very likely will end up getting stolen by other game designers working on beat 'em ups right now. But what if an enemy and a player both initiate a grab lunge at the same time.
Grab break.
There's all kinds of cool stuff you could do, right?
it could
That you
it could
can't do
with-
if
yeah,
you
yeah.
just initiate grabs by rubbing into enemies. So many options are gone because people fall into the tracks of I liked all this from the existing beat 'em ups, and people will complain if it's missing from mine, so I have to do it. And that kind of it forces you stuck down a certain path where you can be somewhat creative within that path, but you're still in a groove that other people carved out for you. You have to be an obsessed nut to take the risk marketing wise to go down a different path. And
You-
yeah, go ahead.
You're leading me to another question, which is like,
Yep.
and just say if you do not wish to answer it,
Yep,
just
yep.
yeah, I don't wish to answer it. Do you know what I mean? Because it can be quite controversial. Now,
Yeah.
my opinion is that we are in the era of, let's say, easy mode in quotation marks. Yeah?
Absolutely. Games have gotten way easier,
Way
way more
too easy.
casual. Yep.
So how are we balancing that with Metro Seed? Because a lot
Yeah.
of the stuff you've mentioned looks
Yeah.
like there's a lot of risk reward in that.
Yes.
And then I know no
And that's
disrespect
going to ramp up. Yep.
the modern gamer
Yeah.
and
Nope.
with social media and that, they have problems with risk reward. They just
Yep.
seem to want reward as soon as I press a
Right.
button.
Right.
How are you going to approach that with this game? How do you approach it for them? What have they
So
got?
there will be an easy mode that will make it harder for people that are playing kind of not great to still be able to survive and beat the game, right? So they'll have more credits, enemies will do less damage to them, and things like that. But across the board, the game will encourage players to learn. There will be clues that there's more depth to the gameplay.
Yeah.
And it's up to us, even in beginner mode, even in easy mode, we might slow down. Like you'll notice, like I said, enemies have a tell before they attack, right?
Yeah.
So we could make it so that on easy mode, that tell time is extended. That part of the animation plays a little longer to give a less good player more time to do a well-timed counterattack, right?
Yeah.
So it's a combination of making sure the reward is tempting enough for them to want to get good, to get that extra reward, but still making it so it's not frustrating. If we made it so you can't beat this boss without super well-timed counterattacks, then those people are going to nope out. They're never going to see the
immediately.
end of the game.
Yeah,
right?
immediately.
So,
Yeah.
and again, all of these great questions you're asking, these are the things that, in my opinion, game studios should be spending more of their development time on. But instead, it's you got to pay more artists to do. And again, with the super high quality, like it is amazing. If you look at like the new Ninja Turtles game,
Yeah.
it's like every few seconds there's this amazing new set piece of this giant boss crashing through buildings and shattering walls and like all these amazing set pieces. But remember how I said about if you get enough artists, like it becomes a cacophony? Like if there's not breathing room in music, if every part of the song is the crescendo, is the big hit, bam, 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 like it just becomes numb. Like, I don't know if you guys all saw The Matrix, the original three Matrix movies, but The Matrix 2 would be a 10 times better movie if they chopped out like 30 minutes of it.
Yeah.
It was so much repetitive, nonstop action. How many times did we need to see Morpheus almost fall off of the truck in the highway chase? Like he literally, like he's going like this, balance checking at the edge. Like, oh, sorry, I just hit the mic in my excitement. But do you like? Doesn't that lose its excitement after the first time it happens? We have to see that 3 more times.
Yeah, I've got to see that again. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, so
That is
but
true.
even if it's something different, if there's nonstop explosions and big things happening, your brain gets numbed to it. So like to me, it's a shame if they slow down Ninja Turtles more. And don't get me wrong, I'm saying this is how I would do it. I am not saying in any way that any of those games are lower quality or Metro Siege will be better. I'm just saying it'll be very different. And I'm talking about general art concepts, right? So like you're always playing on contrast. And like I said, you need in music and storytelling, there needs to be calm moments and then exciting moments. If it's nonstop exciting moments, you're going to literally exhaust and kind of the watcher is going to go numb Their
Yeah.
brain is going to disconnect from the story. And so by the time in the Matrix 2, when what was that guy's name, the architect or whatever, that spoke with all the big words, once she was speaking, everyone's mind was so dead from the
Yeah.
nonstop action. It's like you can't go from nonstop action to some like
that. Yeah.
some boring guy
Yeah.
speaking in an intentionally obtuse, hard to follow way. Like
Yeah.
no one is going to listen to what the hell he's saying. Like you know what I mean? But so it's all about pacing. And my point is, they could have spent that money on like for example, the Ninja Turtles games, making less set pieces, but making the few set pieces they make even more amazing, and more important, focusing on the gameplay to make sure all of the levels they do offer you offer more actually new and creative things in it, so that when you're playing through and you pick a different path, you're like, holy crap, this introduces an enemy with a totally new behavior that I need to adapt to and pay attention to. To me, that's budget and time much better spent. But like, everybody fell into that trap. Like, we got to impress people with the wow factor and the play time and the budget. But the game would actually be more fun if they focused some of that money and man hours on like just refine the hell out of the core gameplay and come up with really cool new things to keep introducing along. Like I said, Sengoku 3, AAA amazing game. That game gets boring as hell to me by like 40 minutes in, because you've been facing the same enemies over and over. And even when they introduce new enemies, it's 95% or more the same gameplay. You can almost every beat 'em up, once you're decently good with the general positioning and timing, you can button mash through them. And that's what I mean by button mash hypnosis. You end up just
One button.
not thinking about, not being engaged in what you're actually doing. And like, that's the core of what I'm trying to do with Metro Siege, is like have the player for the whole game be going like, holy shit, or like, oh, I think I can do this.
Wow.
And you know what I mean?
No,
like
you can't.
staying
Yeah,
engaged.
but don't you think the newer audience,
Mhm.
right? I have this thing of where I know there is a core audience that a game is for, to be honest.
Yeah.
And usually
Yep.
they have them in mind most of the time. However, I still think developers, and especially the beat 'em up genre, should be a little bit more inviting to the newer audience also, because at some point that's how the genre will fully die out, because we're gonna get older and we're gonna maybe not play games as much. However, how do we engage the newer audience? Because like I said before, they're very into, I don't really want to learn, I just want to know it and do it straight away.
So you're never going to convert, and this is such an important thing, and you guys know this as like YouTubers and
Oh, I
stuff,
know what you're
right?
gonna say, bro. Go ahead.
You're never going to convert the masses, right? But you can continually grow not only your fan base, but if you're trying to really promote a genre of game or a different direction of gameplay design, of those people. Like, that's why I've said to so many people, like helping them with PR issues where you get like big time trolls in your YouTube feed and stuff like that. It's like, always kill them with kindness. Do you know that expression? Like, always be hyper polite, always do everything you can before you reply. One, if what they say pisses you off, or if you think, oh my God, this person's an idiot, I'm going to explain to them why they're a freaking idiot, right? Never respond when you're in that mood, right? Sleep on it if you have to. There have been times, and it had nothing to do with gameplay design, but there have been times online where I literally wrote out a big giant in WordPress or like a text editor. I wrote this big giant reply on how every way they're wrong, but I didn't send that. And then the next day, because I got that out of my system, I was able to be way better, a better person and way smarter about it. And keep in mind, whenever you're responding to criticism or in this case, when you're trying to win people over to the type of game design you're doing, or you just want them to love the more hardcore, more difficult retro games, right? Just realize the fact that you're never going to convert the majority of people, but you definitely don't need to. With every YouTube video, with every game, with every release demo, you're going to be able to convert some of the people that aren't dead set
Yeah.
just no, I don't want to invest that kind of mental power or time or read a manual or go through a tutorial. But again, it's also the game designer's job to make that enticing and to make that not a boring tutorial. Like the
Yeah.
best games ever, even that are sophisticated, they figure out how to build the tutorials into levels 1, 2, and 3 naturally, so it's never boring. You're learning on the fly, which is why the enemies need to be really easy to beat in the first level of a beat 'em up, because a player needs to be able to safely learn their moves without getting killed and getting frustrated and giving up. So it's
Yeah.
all of those things combined. But in general, I highly recommend that if anyone of you who are watching are a developer, um, if you get really negative feedback or something like that, don't think of it like I'm trying to argue with this guy or I'm trying to prove them wrong. Think of it like I'm going to, in as super friendly and professional and meaningful a way as possible, first try to really explain how you think you understand their point of view and can sympathize with their point of view, but then explain, but this is what we're doing. And and sometimes like they just might not like that, right? So if someone
Same with
loves,
content creation. It's the same.
yeah,
Exactly what you're talking
exactly
about
right.
is the same with
Like,
content creation. I've been in the
yeah,
comment section. I've
that
had
that's yeah,
debates and
exactly.
arguments, and
Yeah,
sometimes I've been like, you know what,
yeah.
I'm not even gonna bother. I can't, I
Yeah,
can't, I
you're
can't
you're
be
not trying to win them over. You
yeah,
could win them over if you're super polite and engage in really good tactics. And I don't mean that in an underhanded, manipulative
yeah,
way,
yeah,
but how are you going to maximize the beneficial outcome for both of you instead of getting into an argument and a flame war? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you've got to kill your instinct of this guy offended me and insulted my gameplay design decisions or whatever, so I'm going to make them look stupid. Like if you come at it from there, you're going to dig a hole, you're going to hurt yourself, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot. Whereas if you come at it from a very positive standpoint and you say, yeah, I totally understand, like I love those things too, like the guy that said Damon Claw had no level design, right? It's like
Yeah.
I
yeah,
made sure I understood from their point of view they were 100% correct, right?
yeah,
And if you can get to the point where you can do that, that's the most powerful way if you're going to try to win someone over. Like if you're just going to be butting heads with them, you have like a 0.01% chance of winning
yeah,
them over to your side. Whereas if you show that you can relate to and sympathize with where they're coming from, then you have the chance to say but or and. Like
mhm,
I understand and empathize with what you're saying, but here's why we made this decision, which, might be
mhm,
very different from what you would have done, and that's fine. But the point is, you're not trying to win them over directly, or that's not your
yeah,
main goal. It's everyone else that's reading the feed.
mhm. Yeah, true. That's
And
true.
but anyway, when it comes to gameplay design and making it accessible to
Yeah,
people that just want to
that
button
word,
mash,
that
yeah,
word.
you
Yeah,
can do
yeah,
it. Exactly. That's a very
yeah,
loaded and very
yeah,
dangerous word.
yeah.
But the point is there is a way to do it, but again, it takes all that extra work. And in my opinion, that's what the game studios should be spending a bigger amount of their time and budget on,
Mhm,
is mastering those things that used to be part of it. Like back in the day when every game was new, they had to focus on the core stuff. Is it
mhm,
fun? Is it addictive? Is it rewarding to the player? A
mhm.
lot of that stuff, a lot of that stuff got replaced by the beads of sweat on the 3D boxer.
Yeah, basically.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Chat is having an argument, and I want to touch on this
Yes.
before because I don't want to just leave chat out because we do
Yep.
that sometimes. We leave chat out. Chat's
Yep.
having an argument about story.
About story. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
How important is
That's a
it in a
great
beat 'em
one.
up game specifically?
How
Now we
Right.
know
important is it?
we know those big AAA games. That's all they think about.
Yep.
Really, sometimes they think about that more than gameplay. But here,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
important is it here, in your
You
opinion?
guys ask great questions and your chat makes great points and asks great. So this has been, that's why I'm going on forever. It's great talking with other passionate people about this stuff. And so that is a great question. And again, I can completely sympathize with the, like, for a beat 'em up or a shmup, story doesn't mean anything relative to the raw fun factor, like from the point of view of, is this gameplay mechanic viscerally fun? Like
Mhm,
doing this grab, throwing enemies into other enemies, the core things that make the whole genre fun, right? So none of that needs a story. But keep in mind, there are different levels of storytelling, right? There's like if you look in, if you guys went back to level 2, or if you skip to level 2, whoever still has control of the game, yeah, like go down to level and press your button, press the button, and then it'll choose level 2. Go down to level 1,
Didn't
and
hear her.
oh,
Din.
Den, are
Yep.
you still with us?
I'm here.
All right. You
yeah,
still have
okay.
control of the game, which is on the screen, right? So could you do me a favor and go down to where it says level 1? And if you
Okay.
press, no problem. If
I'll
you
read
press,
that.
yeah, no, that's a very important thing. That's never apologize for paying attention to chat. But level 1, go down to that. Oh, it's the delay probably. You probably already did.
Yeah,
If you
was good.
press the attack button, it should say level 2. Once it
Yeah.
says level 2, go
Yeah.
back up and choose one player and play. It'll skip to level 2. And I want to talk about the different degrees of storytelling. So you can do storytelling just by the visuals and just by camera movements at key moments, which don't break up and interfere or make game players that just want to keep kicking ass. It doesn't bore them, right? So at the end of level 1, you beat up Officer Bob and he ends up running down the subway platform. So basic storytelling is simply Bob gets up and runs down the subway platform to escape.
I get what you're saying now.
Yeah. I
Like
get it.
he basically baking the storytelling into the gameplay and
Right.
like the
So-
cutscenes.
So for an action game, you keep your dialogue that forces the player to mash through. One, you
Yeah.
always give the player a way to skip it. Because
Yeah.
once they've played through the first time, they should be like they want to play an action game. They should be able to skip the dialogue. One. And two, make it as minimal as possible to still tell an enthralling story, right?
Yeah.
But you don't want it to end up being, what was that game? Death Stranded?
Oh,
You know,
yeah,
which
yeah.
amazing quality, but you don't play Death Stranded if you want to play an action game because
No.
an enormous amount of the hours of the game are basically walking to deliver packages or watching cinematic scenes and listening to dialogue, right? So it has to be a game designed for that. But if it's an action game like a shmup, you can find that balance where you have a cool story that enriches the world that also keeps the player more engaged and more like they care more, right? Like I talked about in that game Thief, you might be playing stealthily, but then you see an interaction between two NPCs and you're like, I want to
Yeah.
rip that guy apart. He's an asshole. Like you may have just seen him like smack a woman in the face or so, something, or abuse a child, and you're like, I need to kill this guy in a painful way, right?
Yeah.
So even in a beat 'em up, you can have these little moments. You can do that kind of storytelling, which keep the player emotionally involved in a very non-boring, non-intrusive way to the gameplay. So I think you may have noticed already, once you beat the first wave of characters, just for a split second, the camera pans forward to remind you that you're chasing Officer Bob, and he kind of goes, oh shit, and he continues running onward. And then later on, he runs the subway train stops, and Bob runs on. Now you have to chase his ass across a whole train full of new types of thugs. So
Yeah.
that's a way of continuing the story where you can go well, and that's what I recommend you focus on with any any genre that's very mostly action, really hardcore. Even if you have a story you think is awesome, save that for the webtoon or like a bonus feature you unlock, or in the options like story mode for people that can turn that on. But otherwise, keep it as minimal as possible so that you're not like if you choose to play Streets of Rage 2, it's not because you want to read an enthralling story
No,
and a bunch of dialogue,
definitely.
right?
Yeah.
So respect the player, respect why they bought your game, respect why they're playing your game. Be very mindful of the fact that every menu should be fast and easy to get into gameplay. Every dialogue, if it exists, should be skippable. And even if the player is playing for the first time, you should make it entertaining and short enough that they don't want to skip it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good question. That's good. There you go, chat.
Yep.
There you go.
I didn't leave you
Before we get forced to stop, because I know I've made this go way longer than it probably
That's
should
right,
have.
that's right.
One person made a great comment or question. Yes, but why would any modern player care or want to play an Amiga game. And that is 100% correct. They should not. They absolutely should not. It's
For the
our
love.
job.
It's for the
Like,
love.
we, like the lead programmer and myself and the lead musician, we happened to be Amigans who always wanted to prove how good of a game could be made on Amiga. That's our own kind of self-abusive burden we put on us to put in all this extra work, right, to make an Amiga version. The players should not respect that at all. They should only care, is it a good game or not? And it's our job to make the Amiga version so good that when they see it, like in this demo you're playing, keep in mind everything, that's pixel for pixel, the Amiga version so far, and we haven't put final polish on it. We need to make it fun enough and look good enough and sound good enough that people who don't give a crap what system the game's on, they still want to play it. And
Yeah.
that's our risk we're taking, and it's a big risk, and I don't recommend it. From a
So-
business standpoint,
No,
it's
business
lunacy. Lunacy.
So,
It
so yeah,
is
before
risky. Go on, Dwes,
yeah.
sorry.
so before we go, right?
Yep.
My last question is this: so when all the dust settles, and you guys put the game on all of the different platforms y'all
Yep.
promised everyone, what is it like? What is it that you guys want people to remember Metro Siege as? Like, what memories do you want? Like, what do y'all want?
What I
remember the
really
game
want
as?
is I want them to finish playing the game for the first time,
Yeah.
and I want them to go, damn, that game was fun. That's top priority. And two, I want them to go from the first level, I want them to go, wow, this is a breath of fresh air. Because again, I don't think all of these modern 2D games coming out are AAA and surpass in quality what our tiny team will be able to do in some ways with Metro Siege. With the enormous amount of levels and set pieces, there's zero chance we could ever compete with that because we don't have the budget. There's no way. Like, if we had a magic device that could clone a ton of team members, we'd still have to feed them. Even then, we would need a bigger budget.
Yeah.
But the point is, what we can do is channel our obsession toward doing what everyone else is ignoring in these genres, just like we did with Damon Claw, taking a completely ignored game, a whole genre. Like, it would make me very happy if there were a bunch of copycat Damon Claw games that, you know what I mean? That game, suddenly if the black belt style game started becoming more popular, that would be an amazing achievement from my point of view, because it really is, it scratches a totally different itch. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's like, it's not Streets of Rage, it's not Castlevania, there's nothing else, there's no other game that can scratch that exact itch. And if I'm remembered for Damon Claw as someone who introduced people to that new itch they sometimes need to scratch, that will be amazing. And it's the same thing with Metro Siege. I mean, it is still the beat 'em up genre, hands down, but we're doing things so differently in some ways that it's a big risk, and it's our job to succeed or fail. And there's no one to blame. You know, those cliched creators that are like, well, I guess the world just isn't ready for my genius. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. It's our job. Yeah. Anyway, I've got to force myself to shut up and at least give you guys a chance to boot my ass out of the stream so you can go to bed. Me too. It's past midnight here.
I'll add in one very quick question with a quick answer right before we go.
I'll try to be quick.
Release window.
Yep. So the goal on the Kickstarter, and remember, these are always estimated, and we're going to be busting our ass. Please do subscribe to our YouTube channel, because I'm going to be putting out tons of videos, not just update videos like every 3 weeks for Metro Siege, or certainly every 3 weeks to a month. There will be a update dedicated video for the Kickstarter backers and people in general that want to follow it. But I'll be doing way more videos and even live streams. I'm going to be getting into live streams in just a few weeks from now, where you'll literally be able to watch me work on the game. So I'll start each live stream like playing the demo of Metro Siege, playing Damon Claw, like as hopefully some viewers roll in, because we're a tiny channel so far. We need to get people used to the fact that we're live streaming and find the right time to do it where enough viewers will come. But, you know, like, once we get at least a couple of viewers, I'm going to switch over to actually working on the pixel art and animations, talking about gameplay with the other team members. You'll actually get a pretty more deeper level of transparency and behind the scenes than I think will have ever been done in an indie game or in any game, actually, video game.
Mhm.
You'll get to like sit in with us and really witness the creative process and even participate, even give feedback on the fly, which could
Definitely.
actually influence how the final game ends up. So yeah, if you find the Bitbeam Canon YouTube channel,
I'm gonna try
then
and link it now. Actually, I'm gonna link it
thank
in
you
the
very
chat
much.
now.
Yep. Please do subscribe. That helps us a ton. And I promise, like most of the videos will be edited, so it won't be just me rambling on and on nonstop for several hours. They'll be short, concise videos. But the more live stream videos, definitely we're going to have guests. You're welcome, guys. If you ever want to, like if you see me working on anything you find interesting and you want to have an influence or ask questions, then I'll have you guys be able to call into the live stream and we can
Love to.
chat while we work on the game.
Gotcha.
So,
Yeah, definitely.
um,
That'd be really
yeah,
cool experience. Yeah,
Well,
definitely. It'd
Mike,
be
it's
really
been
cool experience.
great having you on, man. Glad to finally have you on. I know
yeah,
we done a video a while back on Brawls Avenue, but I'm definitely
Yep.
looking forward to playing the more advanced
Yep.
demo.
Yeah,
Maybe some
absolutely.
even
Yep.
there. Won't spoil anything, but looking forward to it.
Yep.
Oh man, yeah. So guys, you guys got anything else or?
I think
No,
that's
just
about
thank you
it,
to
man.
Mike. Thank you,
Yeah,
man.
man.
Thank you for your time.
Thank
you
you
for
guys,
yeah.
not only for having me on, but your incredible patience with letting me ramble. Hopefully it was
I
interesting
don't
and
mind.
entertaining for
Oh, it's good,
everybody.
man. It's good.
I don't
But
mind the
yeah,
insight, the
keep in
things that
mind,
other people
guys,
don't know about. Yeah.
my passion for this art form equals nonstop words on a live stream, but there's almost no words and all gameplay. So the same passion goes purely into gameplay when
Uh-huh.
I'm designing a game. So keep that in mind, guys. The game won't be boring with nonstop words. That's just me in real life.
That's good, man. The game, like so far, every time I'm playing, it's like different stuff. And what's crazy about it is that
Yeah.
initially when I first played it, I was like,
Yep.
there's only there's a few things going on. But then
Yep.
I
No,
played it
there's
again.
layers.
Yeah, I
Yep.
played it again and then I played it again a little bit like while we was talking, and I'm
Yep.
finding more stuff, and it's
Yep.
crazy from like just not even a modernized beating them up. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
that's pretty
like I
dope.
said, we had to work an enormous amount extra to fit all of those moves on the Amiga.
Mhm.
But all of those moves will be in their full glory on the Neo Geo and
Yeah.
modern versions where there's no visual compromise. Like
Yeah.
every animation on the version you guys are looking at, it looks more stiff and unnatural than it should because I had to make that compromise. I had to design animations based on the body parts I had, not
Yeah.
based on what would look the best for that animation.
Yeah, I got you.
And that's gone. That limitation is gone for the Neo Geo and modern versions. But anyway, I'll force myself to shut up so you guys can go.
Chat.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining.
Yeah.
Chat.
Yeah.
We love to
Yeah.
bring you more insight on beat 'em up games. We have the beat 'em up boys. Do you know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
you know what? This one's a bit different. This is the first time we've ever had the game playing whilst actually,
Yeah.
speaking to the developer
Awesome.
himself. So that is
And it's a
that's
retro game, it's
Yeah.
one of the
Legit
things
retro.
are for
Yep.
me.
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Oh.
what we
Again, aspiring game developers, don't go down the retro path if you don't have a love and obsession for the
Yeah, you
actual
got to. You got
consoles.
to, man.
Yeah.
It would be an enormous mistake
Yeah.
financially.
You've got the warning. You've got
Yeah.
the warning.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
yeah, be careful. All right, chat. We are heading out. Massive thank you to
Uh-huh.
Mike again.
Yeah. Awesome chat.
And congrats on your
YouTube.
on a successful Kickstarter. All
Yeah.
Yes,
three.
congratulations on the
Yeah,
Kickstarter
congrats.
again.
Congrats.
And don't forget, you can still back. And the cheapest version is the digital for Steam or itch.io. It's 13 euros, which is around 15 US dollars. And you get that version, you're going to get all three versions. So a widescreen modern version and the Neo Geo version and the Amiga version. And I'm going to work damn hard to make it so that sometimes you'll even want to play the Amiga version, even
Yeah,
if you
this
have no
guy's
idea or
this
give a
guy's a
crap.
maniac, yo. This
That's
guy's a
free.
maniac, bro.
That's free game. That's free versions.
Love it.
Yes.
One game
For
chat.
yeah,
So
for
3 for
15
1.
bucks.
Yeah,
Yep.
Three
this
for
guy's a
one, chat.
maniac, son. He's a
So,
maniac,
yeah.
bro.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I've put the link to the YouTube channel. So go and subscribe. Go follow, interact with the videos and stuff on the Bitbeam Cannon
Yep.
YouTube
Oh
channel
yeah,
as well.
give the enemies the ability to roll too, man. You know how the character.
Wes,
Yeah.
See, like, you
Wes
guys
will
are
tell you to
awesome.
make the game
You
super
guys are
difficult.
awesome.
Be
I was
careful.
actually going to explain that, like how I said enemies introduce new gameplay mechanics. Like that's exactly right. So when I said risk versus reward, you can do a flying knee drop. So if you initiate the dash with tapping forward twice, you'll do a dash forward. If you jump while you're dashing forward, you'll go flying across the screen for like a devastating fast, like whole screen with drop kick. But if you tap down twice instead, you could do a flying knee drop across the screen to hit someone while they're down, which does bonus damage. But the other critical thing is, if they roll out of the way and you slam your knees on the concrete, guess who's taking damage?
Hey, damage
Yeah.
yourself.
It's risk versus reward. That's why I brought up WWF. You know how they would like do this dangerous like belly splash again and they roll out of the way and they'd hurt themselves? It's got that element in there too. But anyway, I gotta shut up. Yeah.
Yeah, let's
Chat-
stop. Let's stop asking questions, man. Cause we'll be here forever, bro.
Crazy. Chat's going
Maximum
crazy.
love and
Face,
respect,
face
man.
gotta go to sleep, bro.
Maximum love and respect, chat.
Yeah.
I'm gonna catch you on the next stream. Din, Wes, Mike, thank you. We out,
Later.
boys. Peace,
Later.
peace, peace,
Later.
peace, peace, peace.
And scene.
That's a wrap.
Awesome.
Ah, lovely, 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 lovely. I like that one. I like
Great.
that interview. That interview just rolled. And I was just,
Great
yeah, I like
conversation, guys. Great
Yeah.
conversation. Like you guys asked great questions. You made great
Yeah, we're gonna play till 7, and then I'm gonna chill out, chill with the wife, and then that's about it, bro. That is really about it. Yeah, we streamed longer than I thought it was gonna be an hour long, but these podcasts, boy, they they go fast, man. I mean, the time goes pretty fast. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. See, hold on, even working. Okay, yeah, podcast, bro. They last a minutos. They last a minutos. See, what can I buy, yo? Let's over there to buy. Go to the store quick. Let's see what kind of random. Ooh, this rhino looks dope. We get into the pirates. Shit. I'll take it. What up, comp? What's going on, man? How you doing, man? Playing a few matches, then I'm got out of here.
Choose your rival. Bravado.
Oh, yo, Comp, you ready for the barbecue, man? Ready for the barbecue, son?
Jodi Delta. Ready? Go!
What a rock. What brings you here today? What brings you here today, Rock?
Game!
Hey, Rock, what brings you here today, Rock?
Choose your rival. Godai Delta. Ready? Go!
I died from that? What the fuck? Actually, here's my last one right here, people, and I'm out of here. Alright? Intro with the wives.
Choose your rival. Brano. Godai Delta. Ready? Go!
What's good? Oh, we played each other? We dead. Yeah, I play Rivals. I like the game. Although there's like a lot of flaws in the game. God. Oh man, messed that up. Oh. Really? What hit me? Let me see. I don't know what happened in game 2. I flew off. I couldn't jump. This game does random stuff online. Had to see what it was. Didn't know you play Rivals. Yeah, I play Rivals.
Choose your rival.
I like the game. Like I said, there's a lot of shortcomings with the game though that I'm not a fan of. But
Fire capital.
it is what it is, man. Just trying to play. I like platform
Ready?
fighters.
Go!
Like that. See what I'm talking about? I knew he was gonna do that. Parrying just sucks, yo. It's a mistake I made.
Game! Choose your rival. Jules fail.
I gotta like the send so I could get a win.
Ready? Go!
Got that. Hold the block. The fuck? Oh, my controller. What the fuck is going on, yo? Yo, what the fuck is going on, dogs? Holding block. Yo, I'm holding block, man. I see this. This nigga has a big ass block in his hand. I see him throwing it. I'm pressing block. What the fuck block? Yo, I'm done. Yo, man. I see the block. I see it in his hand. I'm holding shield and nothing comes out. Come on, man. Know what the fuck he's gonna do. Anyway, let me get out of here, man. Yeah. I don't want to play another match. I'm not trying to win on even a win. I mean, I wanted to, but that wasn't the cause. Anyway, you missed it, Ron. We out of here. HDR might be coming soon. Wink, 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 wink.